Mic check. 1, 2. Are they 15 or 12? They might be 15. Are they 15-minute quarters?
12.
Yep.
That's what I did last year, actually. Did you guys get starting lineups?
No.
No.
Are you good to go for now?
Yeah, I just don't know how to set it up for the first quarter.
Okay.
Hello? Cody, can you hear us? Okay, good, good. What do we need to do now? Oh. Here we do. I was dialing, it's 902-2181. That's my, okay, I didn't see that number. Let me hang up and I'll dial that one. All right.
Hello.
No, they don't have this hooked in yet.
Well, it's better safe than sorry.
Yeah. Hey, can you hear us? Okay, much better. Yeah, I was looking at I didn't see the other number, so that's. Yeah. Okay, well, what do you want to do it's 16 minutes till game time. Should we go live at 10 minutes till? Okay, so we got about 6 minutes and 23 seconds. So if you want to play some music or do whatever, that's fine, and we'll just stay connected. Okay, sounds good.
Can you hear me when I talk? How do we know when, like, they're going to be playing, like, the ads and stuff? Do we do that?
Tell them we're going to go to commercial and they just do it.
How do we tell them?
We're on the air. We're going to take a quick 30-minute.
Oh, so
they're listening.
Oh, okay, I got
so
you.
they're paying attention. So we'll just say we're going to take a quick 30-second break. Football's a little easier because
Yeah.
we're going to do it in timeouts and all that kind of stuff. Like we're doing a pregame show, we get tired of talking. We say we're going to take a quick 30-second break or a quick minute break, and then come back and do that kind of stuff.
What are we going to open up with?
your glory days?
Yeah. Probably not. So, what's my job gonna be?
Every once in a while, I'll say, well, I'll probably do the game and say, Indians had a tough week last week. I'm sure offense was the emphasis.
Yeah.
Anthony, you played for Coach Weitrick. What do you think he talked about all week long?
Okay.
And then in the middle of the games, it'll just be kind of, that looked like a good hit, then you can add in a little
Yep.
bit.
Okay. Fred says he can hear us.
Be careful. Apparently, Fred can hear us, so we're okay.
Yeah. So we are hot.
We're live.
What's that?
I think we're,
Yeah.
Anthony, are you ready, Ant? I think we're ready to go live. What? I think we're ready. Are we on? Okay. Welcome. All right. Okay. Play the opener. Are we ready? Welcome to St. Paul, Kansas tonight for Game 2 of this young season. We got St. Paul, Kansas, or St. Paul High School Indians playing the Oswego Indians. For you old schoolers, that's two old Mineral Belt League teams going at it like they did in the 70s and 80s. Welcome to a beautiful night. I tell you what, if the voices, if we sound a little choppy or whatever, it's because we're not used to this, because the longtime voice of the Indians, Dan Vitt, is not available tonight, and his sidekick, Mike McCracken, is also not available, so you get the junior varsity crew. My sidekick, Anthony Albertini, and I'm Ross Albertini, and hopefully we can give you a good night of Indian football. I think we'll start off a little bit talking about last week's game. Indians came in and they had 4 starters with little or no varsity experience, and they had to play a very tough Sedan team, Anthony. They had a lot of returning veterans, and they also had a lot of depth, and that was awful hard. And as you well know from your years of playing here at St. Paul High School, when you play a team like that, it's very hard when you're just young coming out of the gate.
Absolutely, and the Blue Devils have kind of been a pretty good opponent for us here the past couple of years, and that was probably a pretty tough game to start out on.
Yeah, and you know, it showed the Indians played a really good first half on defense. It was a one-score game, but in the second half, that youth and inexperience started to show up a little bit, and the St. Paul or the Sedan Blue Devils was able to kind of take control. We're going to take a 30-second break for the national anthem, or a 1-minute break, and we'll go to commercial. We'll be right back.
By the tragedies of September 11th, 2000.
Got it.
Around the world and pausing to remember and honor those who lost
Anthem's
their
over.
lives in the September 11th terrorist attack. We continue to honor the heroism and bravery of the first responders, including firefighters, law enforcement officials, and civilians who work to save the lives of others. We are grateful for the countless American heroes who have and continue to stand watch around the globe, protecting and defending our country from those who seek to destroy it.
welcome back to the field, and teams are done with the national anthem and they're getting ready. We were talking a little bit about last week's game, Anthony. If you watched it last week or listened on the radio, I think it was apparent that the struggle was trying to move the ball. I'm sure this week's practice was a point of emphasis was on offense. Anthony, you played for Coach Whitrick for a long time. What do you think he had to say during this week's practice?
I would guess at practice this week they worked a lot on ball control and outside run game. It looked like they moved the ball pretty well in the inside, but when the drive started, just started to get going, seemed like they would fumble it or a big penalty. So, like I said, I'd imagine it's on ball control.
Yeah, and that's where that youth and experience comes into play. Like you said, they would just kind of try to get a drive going and get a few good positive plays, and about that time they would have a penalty or a mistake and just kind of shot themselves in the foot. But I'm sure execution and everything was a key emphasis. But then also when you have a young team, they got to understand, and I'm sure Coach Whitrick worked on this as well, that just because you had a bad game doesn't mean you're a bad team, and you just have to put that behind you and get ready for the next one.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think, this team they do have some inexperience, but they also have some experience on the line. They have St. Paul has a big front line, I'm sure Dan talked about last week, and I think they can get the offense to get some drives and give them good field position, keep the other team from starting drives with good field position. They should have a different result tonight. Tonight we play the Oswego Indians, Anthony. They are 1-0. They came off a big win at Chautauqua, their rivalry, the old Bloody Bucket game last week, and then they come up to play another rivalry game with St. Paul. Oswego is coached by Matt Fowler, a guy with a lot of experience coaching 8-man football, a couple of state championships under his belt. He knows what he's doing and has this program trending in an upward direction. So it's going to be a tough battle tonight for the Indians. You've played teams that have confidence and experience coming in. How do you handle that when you're young?
I think you just have to be just as confident as the team you're playing. Half the battle is knowing that you can do it, and I think that it's going to, last week might have been kind of a buffer for these guys, but I think they realized that maybe, hey, we can play high school football, and it's a lot of fun, so I expect to see different results this week.
You bet. Starting lineups for both teams. For the Oswego Indians, the visiting Indians, they start number 4, Isaac Elkins, a senior. They start number 7, Jesse Bloomer, a junior. Number 10, Jace Landis, a junior. Number 18, Levi George, a sophomore. Number 32, Mason Mills, a senior. 33, Jonathan Frisbee, a sophomore. And 51, Tristan Gray, a senior. So quite a bit of experience, it looks like, for the Oswego Indians. And for St. Paul, we've got Trey Peters, Kaiser Whitrick, Peyton Norris, Vincent Smith, Wilson Smith, Austin O'Hara, Ethan Stonekey, and Ivan Murillo. As you can see, if you're watching the live stream, the teams are lined up for the kickoff, and we should have some action here in a short second. Anthony, what's it like when you're lining up out there and you're waiting for that opening kickoff?
I would say a little bit of anxiety, but I would imagine they're probably ready to play this week. So.
Yeah. Well, looking at at least comparing teams size-wise, St. Paul looks like they have a size advantage over the Indians, which hopefully will help them as they try to drive that ball down the field on offense. Oswego kicks it off. It goes down to about the 18-yard line and looks like number 40. That is Vincent Smith has the ball with a nice return. He's going to get it close to midfield. It looks like he is at the 37-yard line. And of course, as most people know, in 8-man football, midfield is the 40-yard line. So Indians are going to, I shouldn't say Indians, both teams are the Indians, so that's going to be kind of confusing. St. Paul is going to start out on offense. Looks like Oswego is in a 3-man front with 3-4. Looks like they got 3 with 4 linebackers and 1 safety. I don't know what the delay is right now. The refs are getting things lined out. This is a big game, Anthony, and you always know when it's going to be a big game because Sean Fry, the newspaper guy, is on the sidelines with his camera. So this is going to be a big one. Indians are in the shotgun. Trey, number 3, Trey is going in motion. Is number 15, Kaiser Whitrick. Trey's back to pass, throws it to number 4. Oh, and the ball was in and out of his hands. That was Landon Beechner. Landon was injured last week, and I know he's one of the key pieces in the offense for St. Paul as far as he brings a lot of speed and shiftiness to the field. So it's nice to have him back. He had an opportunity right out of the gate, and that's, again, he's a sophomore, and a little bit of nerves there probably caused him to, try to run before he caught it. Indians line up, still in the shotgun with trips formation to the right. Snap goes to quarterback Trey Peters, and he is running to the right side, and good blocking there, Anthony. What did you see there with the line?
I thought they got a good push right off the bat, and I think that's kind of what projected that play forward.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to have a first down on that run. So that is a nice way to start the drive, because last week first downs were hard to come by, so it's nice to see them get a good gain right out of the gate and get a first down and get some positive momentum going.
And I really like the way that that Peters runs. I think he runs hard and runs downhill. That's good for us.
Yeah, he's a sophomore. That's the thing. The backfield for St. Paul is very, very young. This time in the shotgun with the trips to the left formation. Trey runs to the left this time, and he's got a nice hole. Another, good job of opening up that left side, Anthony. Looked like Ethan Stoneking had a nice block in there, and Trey did a good job of following his blockers, and that's 2 first downs on 2 plays, and already you can see the difference between this week's game and last week's game.
Yeah, it looks like they've really settled in playing the game, and looks like they're having fun out there too.
Yeah, and that's half the battle is you've had a month of practice or 3 weeks of practice, and it's good when you start having success. It sure makes the game a lot more fun. I formation this time, quarterback under center. Oh, we've got a flinch, and they are going to call. That looks like the linebacker for Oswego jumped in the gap, and they got him off sides. So this is a very good opening drive for the Indians. So it's now going to be 1st and 5 instead of 1st and 10. Indians come out. They stay in the I formation, quarterback under center. Vincent Smith's the fullback. Kaiser Wytruck is the tailback. Hand it to Kaiser, running right up the gut. And he pops to the outside a little bit. Oh, ball pops out, but it looks like
recovered by the Indians.
Recovered by the Indians.
Kaiser Wytruck on the carry.
Number 30, Peyton Norris, was quick on the ball.
The Indians recover, and it is good enough for St. Paul. First
And it looks
down.
like about a 9-yard gain for Kaiser. So his first carry of the night is some good positive yards. You can see that, like you said in pregame, Anthony, they had some success running it up the gut, and that's, they just ran that one right up the middle there, and he popped to the outside for a good gain. Indians come out in a shotgun formation. Kaiser Wytruck to the left, gets the ball, goes off to the right, tries to cut it to the outside. Looks like he might lose a couple of yards on that. What'd you see there, Anthony? Why didn't that work?
I think maybe he should have tried to cut it up a little earlier, but Kaiser's a sophomore, and that's probably just something he's gonna have to figure out.
Yeah, that's one of those things that you get from experience on knowing when you plant that foot and cut it up the middle or try to bounce it to the outside. And that play probably in a week or two, Kaiser makes that right cut and ends up with a nice gain. Indians come out in the I formation. Looks like they're going to play some power football right now as they're inside the 10-yard line. Handoff is the Kaiser up the middle. Looks like he is going to be stopped. Oswego was there. Maybe a 1-yard, 2-yard gain on that one.
I really like when they pull the guard but run it the opposite way, because counter's kind of always been our bread and butter here at St. Paul. So oftentimes when they see that guard pull, they think, oh, counter right, but that time they kind of offset him, if you will, and ran to the left.
Yeah, and with these two coaches, Fowler's has a couple of state championships. Keith Wytruck has been to the state championship game and been there a couple of times as an assistant. It's going to be a chess match out there. Indians are lined up in the shotgun formation, trips left, and it looks like we're going to have another offsides penalty against the Indians, the Oswego Indians, correction. I guess it was 3rd down from the 8-yard line, and you sure like to see the Indians get a touchdown here on this opening drive and get a lot of momentum, and nothing helps better than a 3rd down penalty when you need 5 yards. Indians come out. They're still in the shotgun formation with trips to the left. You see this a lot out of Keith's play calling, and they're just going to line it up and say, we're running this direction, try to stop us, and he is close to the goal line, Anthony. I don't think he got it. I think he's about half a yard short. I think he's half a yard short. St. Paul does have a good field goal kicker on the team in Ivan Murillo, but my guess is after not being able to score last week and punching this ball all the way down to the 1-yard line, they're going to go for it on 4th. What do you call here, Anthony, if you're the coach?
You know, we've seen some success even tonight and last week with them going right up the middle. I think you let that experienced and big offensive line just go at them. I think you run it right up the gut.
Yeah, I think you go right in behind big old Ethan Stone King and Wilson Smith and Ivan Murillo. Trips to the right, shotgun. I think you're going to see him just say, "Here we come," and here they go. Oh.
Reverse.
And we called that perfectly. You know, they ran a reverse on the 1 yard line. So, but it was the right call because it worked.
Absolutely, and I suppose that's why we're upstairs and not on the sidelines.
That's right. That's why Keith makes all the money as the head coach. That was Kaiser was the guy who got that one in the end zone, wasn't it?
I believe so, yes.
Yes. So Kaiser's first touchdown of the season. So that's got to have him excited. I know that's Coach Whitrick's son, so Coach Whitrick's got to be excited about that. And you know, we already see a huge difference between last week's game and this week's game.
More importantly, that is the first Indian touchdown, St. Paul Indian.
That's
touchdown
right.
This season.
Lined up in the shotgun, throwing the 2-point conversion, hand it to Kaiser up the middle, and he looks like he is kind of spinning around. And it is short, but there is a flag. And
I think that's going to be a horse collar.
Yeah, I think you're right. It was a horse collar because it looked like they grabbed him by the back of the shoulder pads and kind of spun him around. Or no, it's a face mask. So Indians are going to get a second shot at getting this in for the 2-point conversion.
And that'll be half the distance to the goal line, so it's only 1 yard now.
Yep. So I guess, what do we, a double reverse, a halfback pass, since that's what we seem to run when we get close to the goal line?
Yeah. Coming
out of the game is Vincent Smith, and going in is number 3, or Trey was going back in with the play. Indians, this is a different formation. They got Landon Beechner spread out to the left and quarterback's under center. And it's going to be a quarterback keeper up the middle, and the 2-point conversion is good. And as always happens, whenever you're a defensive team and you have a penalty after a stop, the team always seems to, punch it in the end zone on that second try, and that's what happened. So 2-point conversion is good, and the St. Paul Indians have their first lead of this young season, of tonight's game and of this young season, as they go up 8-0.
Gotta love the small town water bottle holders. It's a couple milk crates. Kind of makes me laugh a little bit.
Well, the athletic budget, I'm sure, was invested pretty heavily in the milk crates. Let's take a 1-minute break, our 30-second break, and we'll go to commercial as the teams get ready for the kickoff.
And they're stopping it during whenever it looks like it should keep going to reset the chains. They stop it for a little bit, yeah.
I knew that part.
Well, I don't think we ended up at commercial, but that's fine because they're getting ready for the kickoff. Ivan Murillo is going to be the kicker tonight. He might very well be the biggest kicker in the state of Kansas. Ivan is a big kid. He's got to probably be 6'3" and weigh at least 240 pounds. But he likes to kick. He grew up playing soccer, so he knows what he's doing. And it's a nice kick. This one is going to be taken at about the 2-yard line. Indians do the old reverse. Looks like he's got number 4 has the ball for the Indians, and he gets a nice run back. That's Isaac Elkins, the senior, gets the ball back up to about the 30-yard line. So about a 20. Looks like he got it to the 28. So about a 26-yard return with, I think, number 3
brought down by Trey Peters.
Trey Peters, yes. So Trey not only plays quarterback, he can do special teams as well, and he's also out there on defense. Indians have a big front line with Ivan Murillo, Ethan Stone King, and Wilson Smith. Very physical. They're seniors. That's really the heart of the experience for the Indians. And if they have a good game up front, that's going to make this evening go a lot better for the St. Paul defense. Oswego gets the ball, snaps it, and takes off to the right, gets around the edge, and they're going to have a gain of about 4 yards, but there is a flag on the play. Coming back from the back judge, what do you think, Anthony? Is it going to be a hold?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a hold.
And both teams are waiting for the call. And it is a hold on the Indians. So the game is not very old, and the Oswego Indians already have 3 penalties, and all of them have been costly. One down by the goal line when it was going to be 3rd down and 8, ended up giving the Indians the ball on the 3-yard line, and they were able to get in the end zone. That was their first play of the game for Oswego. A nice gain on the play, and they're now going to be backed up 10 yards. So Oswego Indians are coming out and shooting themselves in the foot a little bit. I'm sure they will get that cleaned up, though. But that's a good break for the Indians as they get the defense set. What do you see? What kind of defense are the Indians playing tonight, Anthony?
Looks to be like a 3-4. And obviously, like you said, we have a big front line. But I do like seeing O'Hara in there as a Mike linebacker. I think he's a pretty aggressive kid, and I think he can hit pretty well.
Yeah, he plays hard. You get full effort out of Austin O'Hara. Here come the Indians. They hand the ball up the middle for a quick hitter to number 6, who is Jake Hutchinson, a big 6'1" sophomore for the Indians. Nice hard run. He probably got about, looks like 6-7 yards on the play, so that's going to be 2nd down, and the Indians are back to the original line of scrimmage, so it's going to be 2nd and 10. Oswego's offense it's interesting. They line up very close to the line of scrimmage. When you run the option, you show the ball to the defense and make the defense react, and then you make your read accordingly. This is more of a deception offense where they hide the football so the defense can't see where it's at. And here comes the snap, and the quarterback makes a couple of fakes, tries to get up the middle, and the front 3 that we talked about were all 3 in on that tackle. Ivan, Ethan, and Wilson were both there. The quarterback had nowhere to run, and it's going to be 3rd down and 10 with no gain on that play, Anthony. What do you like about that play?
I like the way Ivan played that. He played it inside out and was able to get in there and make the play as a defensive end.
When you say play that inside out, what do you mean by that?
So he played the ball, made sure he took the inside run game before he crept outside and tried to stop the outside run game.
Well, and that was the right read because they tried to run up the middle. Indians are spread out this time. They're in the shotgun with trips to the right. Snap is fumbled. They throw the ball up, and it is going to be intercepted by the Indians. It looks like Trey Peters has the interception. Indian crowd is excited. That was a great play by Trey. The ball, if you saw it live stream, the pass was a little bit of a floater. Trey was able to get there, and both defender and the offensive receiver tapped the ball straight up in the air as they were both going for it, and then it came right down to Trey, who kept his arms under it before it hit the ground. And this is a great momentum changer for the Indians, or continuation of the momentum they got from that first drive. You couldn't have asked for a better start tonight, could you, Anthony?
No, you can't. And kind of funny, you usually don't see hands like that on a quarterback, so that was kind of impressive.
That's why he's not a receiver,
yeah.
Huh? Indians are going to come out. They're going to play a little smash mouth football, lining up in the I formation. Trey under center, hands it off to Kaiser, who gets up the middle, runs into his own blocker, bounces back, and ends up with about a 1 yard, maybe a 1 yard loss, half-yard loss on that. What went wrong there, Anthony?
Looked like you said, he ran into his own blocker. I think that could have been maybe a counter left where Stone King pulled, and I think he ran right to the backup.
Well, again, maybe that's where a little of the, the team has low numbers, and it's hard for them to practice against live opponents in practice. And so when you're going against tackling dummies, things look different when you get on the field against live players. This time the Indians are lined up in the trips formation to the right with the quarterback in the shotgun. Takes it back. It's going to be a pass. Trey scrambles, and he is going to be sacked by number 3, Kenneth Eady, or number 7, I'm sorry, Jesse Bloomer. He got through there pretty quick. I didn't see where he came from. Was he a linebacker of the blitzing?
I think he came off the edge, but I'm not sure.
Came off the edge, yeah. That's about a 12-yard loss. It looks like it's going to be 3rd down and a country mile, as Dan Vitt would say. 3rd and 21, maybe. So, I don't know. What do you have in the playbook for 3rd and 21?
I'm not sure. Maybe a reverse.
Well, yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
We got Landon Beechner split out to the left. He's maybe the fastest kid on the team, and it looks like they're going to have man-to-man coverage on him. Probably wouldn't be surprised just drop back and throw it as far as he can. And we're going to have a penalty. I'm going to say delay a game. Well, there's probably not much difference between 3rd and 21 and 3rd and 26 at this point. So we'll see if Keith stays with the same formation or if he tries to do something a little bit different. If you're the defense, Anthony, on 3rd and 26, do you blitz or do you just drop back in coverage?
I think you send your front 3 and then just drop back. Play it safe.
We'll see how aggressive Coach Fowler is on this. Same formation with Landon Beechner spread out to the left. He's going to fake the handoff, and before he could even turn around to get his feet set to throw it, number 4, Isaac Elkins was blitzing up the middle, and he got the sack, so it's going to be another about a 5-yard loss for the Indians.
Yeah, and that was a blitz from the left side inside linebacker, so looked like our guard maybe had trouble picking that up.
Yeah, you know, and again, that comes from maybe being a little young and inexperienced, and you know, didn't pick up the blitz, and it just obviously is going to be 4th and long, and looks like Indians are going to punt with Ivan Murillo back to do the kicking. Here comes the kick. Oh, it is. Looks like it's blocked, or it hit one of our own players as it was being kicked, but it took a really good roll and ended up not being a bad result for the Indians. But Oswego Indians are going to have the ball at about midfield. It looks like about maybe a 23, 24-yard punt, which is pretty good considering it hit one of the players in the backfield.
I think it came off the pump protector shoulder pads.
39-yard line.
So maybe you can't, I guess, complain with the result considering how that play started out. But again, this puts a little pressure on your defense whenever you give the opposing team the ball at midfield. We'll see how the St. Paul Indians react. Oswego comes out in the same formation. It's kind of the quarterback's not under center, but he's only about 3 yards back, and the backs are right there next to him. Takes the snap, hands it off to number 10 going around the corner, and Wilson Smith is right there. He stayed at home, did not let him get around him, and pulls down the ball carrier for about a 3 or 4 yard loss.
Yes, that's good defensive in play right there. That's exactly how Coach Watcher teaches it.
Yeah, I think this offense that Coach Fowler has looks like they have about 3 base plays. The fake to the one back going one direction, or you hand it to the other back going the other direction, or you fake both and go up the middle. And so you just have to play disciplined football on defense and stay at home. So it's going to be 2nd down and about 13. So the St. Paul defense is looking pretty good tonight so far. Again, same formation. Ball is to number 11. It's going to be a pass. He throws it. Number 4 is open, makes the catch, and he is going to be pulled out of bounds by number 3, Trey Peters, at about the 28-yard line on the St. Paul side of the field. So it's about a 15-yard gain, and it's going to be a 1st down for the Oswego Indians.
Number 4 looks like he could be kind of hard to bring down. He's a pretty big kid.
Yeah, they don't have weights, but he's listed about 6'1", and he's a thick 6'1", so I wouldn't be surprised to see them go to him a few times tonight. Oswego Indians in their formation with the man split to the right, comes around in motion, and they snap it to the up back, and the ball's on the ground, and man, we were close to being able to get that fumble. That would have been a good break, but it ended up Oswego Indians fall on it for no gain, and it's going to be 2nd and 10.
Ball on the ground, recovered by Oswego.
That time, Oswego tried to hike it to the back to the left of the quarterback, so they were trying to get a little sneaky there, and just the ball bounced off his hands, and Oswego was fortunate that St. Paul did not jump on the ball.
Yeah, and if you watch, both quarterback and running back have their hands down in the same position, so that leads me to believe they're going to be doing that quite often this game.
And again, that's just trying to be deceptive and keep the defense off balance. Indians are in a 4-man front right now, Anthony, so apparently they're worried about stopping the run. Quarterback fakes it and keeps it and carries it off his left side. We have a missed tackle, another missed tackle, and he's going to carry it into the end zone for a 28-yard touchdown run, but there is a flag on the play. So we'll see what the call is. There is an Indian down on the play as well.
St. Paul Indian down on the field.
That was just hike it to the quarterback, and it was kind of a student body left sweep, and we were in position to maybe stop him for about a 6-yard gain, but we split the tackle. And in an 8-man football, Anthony, when you miss one tackle, what usually happens?
Yeah, that's usually the outcome right there is kind of what's expected, a touchdown.
Yeah, so looks like number 61, Ethan Stone King, is on the ground. And the penalty was a block in the back. So St. Paul has been very fortunate with the benefit of the calls. So instead of a touchdown, it's going to be 2nd down and about 15.
It will be 2nd down.
So Indians caught a break there, but maybe that's why they were able to run for that 28-yard touchdown, is because there was a bad block.
Could be why Stone King's on the ground, too.
Yeah, that could be true. Trainer Nick Jacquinot is out there tending to Ethan. Well, let's go ahead and take a 1-minute break while Ethan is tended to.
number 11, Lance Till.
Welcome back to Miles Field. Ethan Stoneking was able to walk off the field under his own power. Didn't seem like he was limping, so hopefully he gets back in there pretty quick. In the meantime, Oswego Indians ran one play, tried running it up the gut for about a 1-2 yard gain. So defense did a good job of stopping that play, and now it's going to be 3rd and 13.
Looks like Mr. J is looking at Ethan's wrist or his hand, so hopefully that's okay.
Yeah. We'll see. We lose a lot of size on that substitution. Mr. Lestico is a filling in for him. He is a number 18 is a freshman. Big gain for Oswego on that one, Anthony.
Flag on the play.
Oh, we have another flag on the play, though.
I think that's going to be an illegal block.
Yeah,
Pushed out of bounds by number 3, Trey Peters.
So Oswego Indians with another big run. That would have been a first down on a 3rd and 14. But instead of that, it's going to be another, it looks like, block in the back or hold. So the Oswego Indians are going to be backed up again. It is a personal foul.
Yeah, I don't think you can blindside block anymore.
Okay,
They
so
used to do that a couple
what
years ago.
seemed like a good block ended up being a bad outcome for Oswego, and Oswego has really been snake bitten by penalties this first quarter. We still have 1:22 left in the first quarter, and that's got to be their 4th or 5th penalty already. A couple of them big. One just took away a touchdown. That one took away a first down on a 3rd and long. So, Indians are St. Paul is definitely getting the benefit of the calls right now, and it's helping. Nothing's better on defense than getting a 15-yard penalty after a big gain. So now it looks like it is going to be 3rd down and 22. So we will see if Oswego plays this conservative and tries to play field position football and just planning on maybe running up the middle and then punting it, or are they going to throw deep and see what happens? Here comes the snap. Quarterback's back to pass. He's got time to throw. Here comes the rush. Number 42. Oh, he got hit and he got loose, and then he throws the ball to number 7. Number 7 has a good run, and he is going to be down to the 19-yard line. He might end up being a short 1 yard for the first down, but man, what a turn of events, Anthony.
Yeah, it looked like the quarterback kind of just sent him a prayer there, and number 7 came down with it, and had so many guys in the backfield there weren't any defenders to tackle him.
No, number 42, Wilson Smith, had him dead to rights for about a 7 or 8 yard loss. And he just somehow spun out of the tackle, and he just kind of threw it as he spun, and good things happened. So I guess Oswego was due for a break after the penalties, and now it's 4th and inches. Here comes the snap. They're going to just run it up the gut. It's going to be about a 4 or 5 yard gain. Wilson Smith with the tackle, but it is enough for the first down. So it looks like the Oswego Indians will have it 1st and 10 on the 14-yard line. So 40 seconds left in the first quarter. St. Paul Indians clinging to an 8-0 lead, but the Oswego Indians have a nice drive going here, and they're knocking on the door, as they say. St. Paul stays back in a 3-man front with 3 linebackers and 2 defensive backs. Oswego hikes the ball. They may fake it. The quarterback keeps it up the middle, and it looks like he is going to be brought down by number 43.
Austin O'Hara.
Austin O'Hara. You talked about him just a few minutes ago, having him at that linebacker position, and he did a good job there. And it's nice to see Ethan Stoneking coming back into the game. And then we end up at the first quarter. So into the first quarter, St. Paul Indians lead the Oswego Indians 8-0. We will be back in 1 minute.
Welcome back. We're getting ready to start the second quarter here at Miles Field, and the Indians are up 8-0. The St. Paul Indians are up 8-0, and Oswego has the ball on our 14-yard line, getting ready to start with a fresh set of downs.
Looks like, well, they ran one play right before the quarter, so I think it's going to be second and about 7. St. Paul Indians cling to an 8-0 lead. Oswego snaps the ball. Oh, the ball's on the ground. It looks like the St. Paul Indians recovered the fumble. Boy, there was a break when he needed it, Anthony.
Absolutely, and I think that was that Wilson Smith that brought that ball
I think
up.
Wilson Smith came out of there with it. Yeah, the snap was a little low. The quarterback for Oswego had trouble handling it, and it kind of squirted it out. And about the time he was grabbing it, Wilson came in there and knocked him down, and the ball just kind of fell underneath Wilson as he went to the ground. So St. Paul Indians holding on to this 8-0 lead with Oswego driving the ball deep in their territory, get the break with the turnover, and now they have the ball, and hopefully we can maybe get a few first downs and run some clock and get the ball out of our end of the field.
Yeah, our first drive looked like it took about 6 minutes. I'd like to see that again.
Yeah, Indians come out, and we have, it looks like, a timeout. St. Paul Indians. Coach Wytrick didn't see something he liked as everybody was lining up, so he's going to play it safe and call the timeout. So let's take a 1-minute break.
St. Paul leading 8-0 over the Oswego Indians. No, it doesn't. It just shows it on here. It doesn't matter. But yeah, everything's still the same up there. And remember, the St. Paul cheerleaders are still looking for your Rowdy Fan of the Week. It's something, I don't know. It's a big popularity contest. I've got the loudest microphone, and I never win.
Welcome back to Miles Field. St. Paul Indians coming out of the timeout still have an 8-0 lead over the Oswego Indians. Just starting of the second quarter. Looks like Ethan Stoneking's on the sidelines getting his ankle taped up, so we have testing the depth of the Indians on the O-line. Ball is snapped directly to number 40, Vincent Smith, and he goes to the right and runs into the defensive end for Oswego, and it looks like it's going to be a minimal gain. What kind of happened on that play, Anthony?
It just didn't seem like there was a lot of movement on the edge on the right side, and he kind of just ran into a pile of people over there.
Yeah, I think they were trying to get that right or left defensive end for Oswego hooked, and weren't able to do it, and that just kind of piled up the play to the outside. So it's going to be second down and 9. So we got about a half-yard gain on that play. Trey Peters coming in with the play from the sideline. Oswego Indians are staying in their 3-man front, 4 linebackers and 1 safety. As the Indians come to the line, they are in a shotgun formation with Kaiser Wytrick to the right. And we have some confusion again in the formation. So Coach Wytrick is going to go ahead and take another timeout. He looks a little frustrated, Anthony, so I'm sure this timeout's not going to be pleasant as he talks to him about maybe execution. But let's take another 1-minute break.
You hear what he screamed? Coach Waldrick asked Stone King if he was ready yet. You ready? Stone King
Welcome back to Miles Field. Indians are still up 8-0 during the break. The Indians did get one play ran, but for 0 gain. Kaiser Whiterick tried to run it up the middle, but the Oswego Indians were there waiting. So it's going to be 3rd and 10. Ethan Stoneking's back in the field, so hopefully that helps us as we try to get that first down on 3rd and long. Going to be a pass. Trey Peters is back, throws it. He's got a man open. Landon makes a nice catch. Oh, that was a nice play.
Great catch by Landon.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it was a good throw by Trey because it wasn't like Landon was wide open. He had to put that ball right in there.
It was on the run, too, yeah.
And it was on the run, and Landon made a nice catch because there was defenders all around him. And, you know, I think that's one of the differences, you know, that between last week and this week, Anthony, is, you know, you get your speed receiver on the outside, which can help open up some things.
Absolutely.
Looks like Indians got a big first down when they needed it. Keeps the clock rolling, it keeps the momentum going on their side. It's going to be lined up in the I formation with Trey Peters under center, Vincent Smith as the fullback, and Kaiser Whiterick as the tailback. Going to be a straight power run up the middle. Kaiser with a, you know, that play doesn't really look big on the stat sheet, but for first down, you pick up 3-4 yards. It's not a bad way to start this series or this set of downs.
Yeah, and they're probably setting it up for something else here pretty soon. I'd imagine we're going to see something go around the edge here pretty quick.
Yeah, so it's going to be 2nd down and 7 for the Indians. Kaiser's coming out. Trey has the play from the sidelines into the huddle. It's nice to see us get out of the hole. Even if we, you know, have to end up punting or turning the ball over, at least we have gotten the ball out of the Oswego into the field. Snap comes. It's a pitch to the left, and we have a fumble on the play. Trey Peters was able to fall on it to keep something bad from happening, but instead of, you know, a positive gain, it's going to be a loss of about 4 or 5 yards. They had Landon in as the tailback that time, and we tried to run the sweep to the left, and the pitch just seemed like it was maybe a little bit off, and Landon couldn't corral it, and the ball laid on the ground, but luckily we were able to get it. So it's now another 3rd and long, about 3rd and 12. What do you anticipate Coach Whiterick calling, Anthony?
I don't know. Maybe he throws again. I think, you know, that worked last time, and Landon was able to come down with a pretty good catch, so I'd expect to see that again.
Twins to the right. Trey Peters is in the shotgun. Here comes the snap. Here comes Kaiser Whiterick, goes in motion, but we have a legal procedure. One of the Indians left early, it appears. The refs are kind of talking about it, but I think it has to be against St. Paul on this one. Refs are talking about it, so I'm not sure what's going. What did you see, Anthony?
It looked to me like Landon Beechner jumped off sides over here when you split out, but there's a flag from both sides, so I don't know.
Yeah. So here's the call. It's illegal procedure on the Indians. It's St. Paul Indians, not Oswego, and it's going to be a 5-yard penalty. So looks like 3rd, and we went from 3rd and long to 3rd and really long. It's going to be 3rd and 16. Center comes up to the ball. Here comes the rest of the team. We're going to have twins to the right. Trey Peters is in the backfield. And looks like Kaiser Whiterick is going in motion to the right. And here comes the snap. He rolls out to the right. He looks. He throws it up. And it's a long pass. And, that incomplete, but the pass was for number 30. I believe that's Norris.
Peyton Norris.
But it went through his hands and it ended up right in Landon Beechner's hands, and but he wasn't expecting it or ready for it. It was a little bit low, and but it was almost one of those freak plays that was going to work out for us. But unfortunately, on the stat sheet, it's going to be an incomplete pass, and now it's going to be 4th and 16, and St. Paul Indians are in the punt formation with Ivan Murillo back to kick. Here comes the snap. He fumbles it, picks it up, and he is going to be brought down for a 10-yard loss, it looks like, and give the Oswego Indians really good field position.
Yeah, it looked like it just slipped right out of his hands.
Yeah, you know, it's just a tough break because, you know, like we said when this drive started, we needed to get a couple of first downs to get out of the Oswego into the field, and even if we had to punt it, at least Oswego would have a long field, and that's what we did. And then, unfortunately, with the drop snap, now Oswego ends up in great field position at 1st and 10 on about the 12-yard line. They're in their standard formation. They snap it to number 6, who is got nice play by the Oswego or the St. Paul defense.
Going to be brought down by Wilson Smith.
Wilson
Chase
Smith.
Hutchison, taken down by Wilson Smith of St. Paul.
So good first play for the Indians on this drive, or St. Paul Indians, with dropping Oswego for about a 2-yard loss. Oswego or St. Paul is still staying in their their 3-man front on defense with looks like they have 4 linebackers and 1 safety. Oswego, they have not. I don't think they've changed formations all night. They just have those 2 guys lined up, and each one of them can get a snap. It goes to, it's kind of a double reverse, and number 10 has the ball, but the Indians are there, so nice play by the Indians. When I say double reverse, they just have those 3 backs back there, and they hand it to one going to the right, and he handed it to the other back coming back to the left, try to confuse the defense, but Indians stayed at home on that right side and did a nice job of bringing them down for only about a yard gain. So it's going to be 3rd and 10. So hopefully the Indians their defense can have a stand here and cling to this 8-0 lead. 7.5 minutes left in the second quarter. Oswego has the ball. They snap it. Quarterback fakes it to the running back, throws the pass. There's 2 defenders there, and it is incomplete. What'd you see there, Anthony?
It looked like it was just overthrown. We did have 2 defenders there, though, so I'm not sure that even if he would have hit his receiver, that it wouldn't have been broken up.
Yeah, that pass would have had to have been perfect, to have any chance at catching that one. So, I think what's nice about this is we had the bad snap on the punt, and Oswego had all the momentum, and yet here we are. It's 4th and 10. They haven't been able to move the ball, so the defense has done their job. Oswego comes out. They're in a little bit different formation. Well, it's switched over to the right side, so they snap it to number 11, who hands it. He fakes it. He's looking. He's going to throw the ball in the back of the end zone, and it is caught for a touchdown. That was a good pass and catch there. That looks like number 10 made the catch for Oswego. That's Jace Landis, the junior, and he just caught it in the back of the end zone. It was a good throw, and there you go, 4th and 10, and you think you have him stopped, Anthony, and they get the big play, and now all of a sudden we have a 2-point conversion.
Yeah, it looked pretty close to the play before, too.
Yes. Quarterback was rolling to his right, and he made a nice throw on the run. That's not easy for a high school quarterback to do a lot of times. Oswego lines up in that little formation that they run. They snap it to the quarterback, and he is going to do a little jump pass to the tight end, and it is caught, and the 2-point conversion is good. So with 7 minutes and 8 seconds left in the half, the score is now knotted up 8-8. Let's take a 1-minute break. Welcome back to Miles Field. We have 7 minutes left in the half. The score is tied at 8-8. Oswego Indians just got done completing about a 14-yard pass on a 4th down and 10 to the back of the end zone for the touchdown to tie it up, and then they converted on the 2-point conversion, and here we are with a tie score. Anthony, when you play defensive line, you play in a team that runs a lot of misdirection and quick hitters. Is that hard to play against?
Yeah, it definitely kind of throws a kink in the plans. I would expect them maybe to start stunting a little bit more, and we'll see a little bit more aggressiveness out of that, I would think.
Yep, I think you'll see some adjustments made by Keith in the second half. Although, to be quite honest, Oswego's only scored 8 points at this point in the game, so it's not like the defense has really done anything wrong. That was really more on the fact that we just gave the ball to Oswego on the 14-yard line more than anything. Oswego lines up for the kick, and number 6 kicks it off. It's a short kick down to about the 20-yard line. That's Lustico, I think, has the ball. Oh, a nice little run, but he gets bumped pretty hard as he went down at the 27, 28-yard line. So the
Ball taken by
sophomore
number 18, Matthew
got the
Lesko.
ball. I'm sure when he lined up for that kick off return, he was not expecting to get the run back, Anthony, but
Yeah.
he got it, and he did a nice job getting a few positive yards on that one.
It was nice to see Landon Beechner come up. He was set back deep to return the ball, but he came up and picked up a pretty nice block for him, so that was good to see.
Yes, nice to help your teammates out on that. Indians, let's see if we can get the momentum back. They're lined up in a shotgun formation, trips to the left. Use this formation a lot, kind of a student body run, and here we come with the counter action. Kaiser Weitrick runs the ball up to the right side. That was a nice hard run. We lined up everybody to the left. Quarterback runs to the left, then hands it to the two backs coming around to the right side. And that time, you know, Anthony, earlier in the game, we talked about Kaiser tried to bounce it to the outside and maybe could have cut it up the middle. That time he made the cut. And instead of maybe having a play that just ends up out of bounds for no gain, he's able to cut it up the middle and get a nice 4 or 5 yard gain on first down. So that's that, you know, you learn as you play kind of situation.
Absolutely.
Indians now are spread out with receiver split both left and right with a back to the side of the quarterback in the shotgun formation. Hand it up the middle to Kaiser Weitrick, who is going to have no gain on that play.
Kaiser Weitrick on the run, once again, taken down by number 32.
You like running up the middle when you spread out everybody, Anthony? How's that?
You know, I don't mind. It does make it a little trickier for the three interior guys because, you know, it's kind of all on them. But I think they're up to the challenge. They look like they're doing pretty good tonight. And Kaiser runs hard, so.
Yeah, you get maximum effort from. He's one of the kids you do get maximum effort for on every play. He's coming out after carrying it a couple of times for a little break, and we have Landon Beechner in the backfield playing tailback. We're back in our power formation. I with Landon Beechner as the tailback and Vincent Smith as the fullback. Snap is made, and it's going to be a pitch for a sweep. And, oh, someone looks like maybe missed a block on that right side, or that linebacker just blitzed in because number 10, he was right in there, or 7, Jesse Bloomer, and he kind of came in untouched, and Landon really didn't have a chance, did he, Anthony?
Yeah, no, he didn't. That was the play they'd fumbled on earlier, but he was able to catch the pitch that time.
Yeah, and you know, when a kid comes in that fast, that clean, is that a missed block or just they're running a formation that we just weren't ready for?
I think that was the right stunt at the right time.
Yeah. Back is Ivan Merlot. Let's see if we can get a good snap and kick this time. Here comes the kick. Oh, a nice kick by Ivan. That's going to get a good roll. And we're talking, that's probably going to be, going to roll down to the, looks like the 16-yard line. So that's about a 30-yard punt, which pins Oswego pretty deep in their territory. What do you think? You know, we gave up the touchdown on the last drive. What do you think Coach was telling the defense on this one?
You know, I would say probably limit the big plays because if you remember the last drive, you know, they gave up the touchdown, but aside from that, they really kind of limited them. There was just one big play.
Yep. Oswego's in their little short shotgun formation with the back to the right. Here's the snap. They snap it to the back, and they're just going to run student body to the right. And it looks like we had the corner cut off, but somehow he slipped around the edge and ended up with about looks like he stepped out of bounds, so it's going to end up being about a 6 to 7 yard gain on that play. What happened there?
You know, I think Wilson Smith might have got hooked on that, and they were able to just get outside of him.
Yeah, it looked like he was going to have it sealed off at first, and then at the last second, the back was able to squirt around the end and get a nice gain. But, again, it's only a 7 yard gain, and they have a lot of field left to go. St. Paul or Oswego has shown that you make them run enough plays, they're going to have a fumble or a penalty somewhere in here. Yeah. And so, like you said, limit at the big play and make them drive the whole length of the field. Here comes the snap. Quarterback fakes it and runs up the middle. He's got one man to beat, and nice open field tackle by Trey Peters. He's the safety, and he did his job on that to make sure that he brought the ball carrier down, but it wasn't before about a 15 to 20 yard gain, Anthony.
Yeah, you know, like you said, Trey made a good open field tackle.
That was just fake it to the back, get the defense going to the right, and then he cut it back, kept the ball and cut it right up the middle, and then bounced it out to the outside a little bit for a nice gain. Going to be 1st and 10 for the Oswego Indians on about the 38 yard line. Score still tied at 8-8. Here comes the snap, the fake, and they're going to pass it. They're throwing it deep, and the defender is behind him, and he dropped it. Sometimes the best pass defense is a pair of bad hands. So that's what happened there. Kid, he got behind. It looked like we were in place, and then, I don't know, our backs kind of stopped, and he got behind him, and it just hit him in that bad spot, the hands. And I bet number 3 wishes he had that pass over again, because that would have been a touchdown if he would have been able to haul it in.
Yeah, and it looked like last play we were in a 4-man front. Be interesting to see if we stick with that or if that was just kind of a one-time deal.
Yeah, kind of the chess match between the two coaches. We go to the 4-man front, they try to throw it deep. And we're still in the 4-man deep for our front. We'll see what happens. In that short shotgun formation, they hack it, and it's just going to be a student body right run. He has some running room on the right side, breaks a tackle, runs over the defender, and he is going to have a nice gain. It looks like it's going to be 10, 20, about a 25-yard run on that one, Anthony. What went wrong on that play?
You know, we had the guy there, but our defender just wasn't able to make that play, and he just kept going.
Yeah, he, you know, the runner had about a 15-yard head of steam going about the time he hit the D-back, and it was just a hard tackle to make. So it is 1st and 10 for Oswego on about the, looks like the 16, 17-yard line. They snap the ball to the quarterback. He hands it going back to the backside, and the defense was full on that one, Anthony. It's going to be a touchdown. It looks like number 10 or 11. I can't see the number. Can you see the number?
I think it's 10.
It looks like Jace Landis ran that one, and that was a little misdirection. They hiked it to the quarterback, who went to the right. The running back came back around from the left side. He had a pulling guard in front of him, and really the whole defense went to the right on that one, and there wasn't anyone within about 10 yards of him, unfortunately. Extra point is going to be a pass. He throws it, and it is caught for a completion, so it is 16-8 Oswego Indians. There's 3 minutes and 55 seconds left in the second quarter. Let's take a quick 30-second break. Welcome back to Miles Field. The teams are about ready to get back on the field for the kickoff. Oswego just capped a, you know, we talked about making them have a long drive. Well, they just did it, Anthony. They went about, looks like 16. They went 34 or 64 yards on that drive, and they kind of made it look easy at times.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's the 3 or 4 yard gains that get us in trouble. It's the big plays. It looks like, you know, we're pretty consistent in keeping them at the line of scrimmage, and it's just, you know, about every 4 or 5 plays they hit a big one.
Yeah, and that's kind of 8-man football in a nutshell. You know, you can look really good on a lot of plays, but in 8-man football, one missed tackle ends up in a long touchdown, and that's kind of what happened there. Let's see how the offense reacts. The offense has looked a lot better tonight. They've been able to move the ball, especially on that first drive, but they've maybe stalled out a little bit here in the second quarter. Here comes the kick. It is going to be, it looks like 18. Lestico has the kick again. He cuts across the field. Oh, he breaks a tackle. He's still on his feet. A nice return by number 18, Matthew Lestico, the freshman. So that's 2 kickoffs in a row he's got to return. He broke a tackle and had a nice little gain, about a 15, 16-yard return on that. So the Indians are going to have good field position coming out of that kickoff. They're going to have it on the 30-yard line. I think this is a big drive for the Indians. They don't necessarily have to score before the half, but I think they need to keep the ball long enough so that Oswego really doesn't have a chance to do anything with it before the half either. Indians are in the shotgun formation. Twins to the left with man in motion now, makes it trips. There's going to be a pass. It's a quick pass to Landon Beechner. Oh, he breaks the tackle. He's going down the sidelines, and there nice play. What do you think of that call, Anthony?
I think that looks like it was the right call, you know. He caught it, and I thought there was going to be a defender there, but the defender just missed him, and Landon was able to squeak down the sideline.
Yeah, it's kind of a little swing pass to the left. Landon caught it, and there was a defender right there, and he just whiffed on the tackle, and once he whiffed, Landon's probably might be the fastest kid on the team. Went down the sidelines for it looks like a nice 14-yard, 15-yard gain. So it's going to be 1st and 10 on the Indian side, or the Oswego side of the field, on the 38-yard line. Indians are in the, they got split back to the right, and quarterback is under center. It's going to be another pass, and they're going to throw it deep. 2 defenders there,
It's got to
and
be a pass interference.
they're going to call pass interference on that. So Air Whitrick is calling pass plays right now, 2 in a row, but you know what? It's working, and I guess that's part of that chess match that we've talked about. Oswego's made some adjustments and starting to stuff the run a little bit, so Keith says, well, you're going to do that, we're going to throw it. And that was send Landon down the field on a fly. Trey threw it up, and there were 2 defenders right there, and there was some contact, and Oswego, again, kind of big penalties have hurt them tonight.
Yeah, and you know, he doesn't quite look like Patrick Mahomes, but I thought Trey Peters has done a good job throwing the ball tonight.
Yeah, he's done a nice job. He's a lefty. You don't see a lot of lefties, and you know, he put the ball where it needed to be. So it's going to be 1st and 10 on about the 23-yard line. You go for 3 passes in a row, Anthony?
I don't know. I would expect them to run it right up the middle here.
Well, we got a back split to the left with Whitrick as the lone running back in the backfield. They're going to fake it to him, and Trey's going to keep it around the end. Oh, he breaks 1 tackle, stays on his feet, and that's a nice play on 1st down. Nothing fancy. You fake it to the dive back up the middle, and then roll out to the right, bootleg off to the right, and you get a nice 5-6 yards on 1st down and keep the ball moving, keep the clock rolling. And, you know, if you're 15 yards, 16, 18 yards from the end zone, maybe we get this in before halftime and tie it up.
Looked like he gained about 2 or 3 yards after contact there.
Yeah.
That's really what you like to see.
Yeah, you like to see a kid run hard. Trey's first-time starter at quarterback has done a nice job. Under center, Whitrick behind him. He's going to hand it to Whitrick on the dive, and Kaiser is going to get up the middle for maybe a yard or 2. Again, you're in 4-down territory, so if you don't get the 1st down on 2nd down, as long as you make the sticks move or keep the yard marker moving a little bit, you're in good shape.
By number 51, Tristan Gray.
We'll see if they go back to the air here. Interesting to see.
Let's see if Keith tries to cross him up. Trey has this call from the sidelines. He's going into the huddle. Oswego staying in their 3-man front with 4 linebackers, 1 safety. We got Landon Beechner in there, and it looks like number 30, Norris, splitting out to the right with Kaiser to the left of the quarterback in the shotgun formation. We're sending the man in motion. Here comes the snap. It's going to be a pass. You called it, Anthony. He's looking. He's rolling. There's no one to throw to. Oh, and he's going to get sacked. Well, that might have been a little bit of the inexperience there. He got the snap. There was no one open, and, you know, and he wanted to make something happen, and he tried to roll out to the left, and just couldn't get around the end, and it's going to end up being, instead of maybe throwing the ball away, it's going to end up being about an 8-yard loss. So it's going to be 4th and 12 or 13. What do you do now? And I mean, you're probably 4-down territory, I would assume.
Yeah, you obviously don't punt the ball away, but I think they throw it again.
Just throw it deep and hope good things happen?
Yeah.
Only a minute left in the half. Oswego's still up 16-8. Looks like Coach Whitrick is going to take a timeout, talk it over with the team a little bit. So here we go. Let's take a 30-second timeout with Oswego leading St. Paul 16-8.
Ahead of the St. Paul Indians, 16-8.
Welcome back to Miles Field. The Oswego Indians lead the St. Paul Indians 16-8 with about a minute left in the half. St. Paul has it 4th down and about 13, and they have it on their own, or they have it on Oswego's 26-yard line. So it's 4-down territory for St. Paul. You know, I think this drive has served its purpose, Anthony, in that even if we don't get a touchdown out of this, at least we've kept the ball. We've got some momentum. We've, you know, get the kids back to thinking they can move the ball on offense, which we've done. We moved it quite a ways on this drive, and then, you know, we keep the ball out of Oswego's hands, and so, you know, the score could be a 1-score game at halftime.
Yes, absolutely.
So you've played for Keith, Coach Weitrick, for 4 years. Does he have any special plays in his back pocket for a situation like this?
You know, I'm not sure. That's a tough one. It looks like we've done a couple reverses already, so it'll be interesting.
It's I formation, so he might just be playing it safe. He's going to, oh, it's going to be the halfback pass to Ivan Murillo. Oh, you know, that was a nice call. A 4th and 14. They did the halfback pass. They pitched it back to Landon Beechner, but Landon made a nice pass. Ivan's a big target downfield, but Oswego was just in position. So
yeah, not a lot else you can do there, you know.
No, give credit to Oswego for being in the right place at the right time. So ball will be turned over on downs with a minute left, and St. Paul trailing by a touchdown. But again, this is a minute's left, a lot of time left on the clock. Oswego has 3 timeouts according to the scoreboard, so you got to be smart here, St. Paul, and don't give up the big play. Oswego quarterbacks in the shotgun, makes a pass out to the side, breaks 1 tackle, gets upfield for a nice gain on first down, probably an 11, 12-yard pickup. Nothing fancy there, Anthony. They snapped it to the quarterback, who turned and immediately threw to the running back, who was split out to the right, and he went upfield.
Yeah, it just looked like a little swing pass, but it worked for him.
Yeah, so they got a nice 12 yards and didn't run much time off the clock. I think the back went out of bounds, so the clock stopped on that as well. If you're Coach Weitrick, do you think about calling up a blitz or anything? I mean, it's kind of risky in that, you know, you don't want to give a big play right before half, but trying to stop the momentum and break up what they do?
Yeah, I think you wait and maybe see if you can get a stop on the run game and maybe keep the clock running and see what happens.
Oswego's in that little short shotgun formation that they've been in all night. There's the snap. Quarterback's just going to drop up and pass. It's going to be throw it up over the middle, and the ball is intercepted. Second interception of the night for the St. Paul Indians. That was Wilson Smith, number 40. He did a nice job of staying home.
46 seconds left to go in the first half.
So St. Paul didn't give up the big play. They got the ball back. Now what do you do, Anthony? You got no timeouts left, I think, if you're St. Paul. You just run the clock out and go in the half, or you try to maybe get the big play here?
I think you send up a prayer maybe, and then if that doesn't work out, just run the clock out.
See what kind of, if Keith's going to feeling like a riverboat gambler tonight. Trey brings the play in from the sidelines. Indians line up. St. Paul Indians line up. They're going to have Landon Beechner and Norris split out to the right, with Kaiser to the left, or to the right, left of the quarterback Trey. He goes in motion to the right. Here comes the snap. Trey's back. He's going to throw it. He's throwing it short out into the flat, and receiver was well covered. Maybe a little mix up on the route running there, because Trey threw it to the outside and Peyton was kind of cutting to the inside. But just a simple incomplete pass, so it's now going to be 2nd and 10.
Yeah, it looks like maybe Trey was pressured a little bit. I think he ended up on the ground on that play too.
Yeah, he just kind of threw it, I think, to make sure he didn't take the sack, which was a smart play on his part. See if Keith decides to go back to the ground and run out the clock, or if he's going to maybe give it one more chance for a big play. Indians come up to the line. They're in their power formation. As far as the line goes, we have in the quarterback, Trey's in the quarterback, or in the shotgun formation, excuse me. They're going to snap, and he's just going to run it to the right side, and he has a nice gain on the play. Oh, ball's loose, and they're going to call it a fumble. They called it a fumble, so I think that was the right call. Trey was wrapped up and was going to the ground, and the Oswego kid just ripped the ball out of his arms, and it kind of laid there, and Oswego jumped on it for a turnover. So they got the ball on the midfield, just past midfield, with 32 seconds left. Tough luck for Trey, because that was a nice run. He had about 7, 8, 9 yards on that play.
Yeah, and like we said earlier, you know, the kid runs hard. He just wasn't able to hold on to the ball that play.
No, and I'm sure the ball is a little wet. It's a beautiful evening, but we've had a lot of rain this week, and I think the field is kind of spongy and wet out there. Indians are in a shotgun formation with trips to the right. There comes the snap. It's going to be a swing pass out to the right, and they're just going to try to see what they can get out of it. And a nice little gain. He broke a tackle or two and ended up with about a 12, 13-yard gain on that, Anthony.
Yeah, you know, that's the exact same play that they did that just the series before, so we'll see what we do here to stop that.
Yeah, you know, I think we played that smart, though, just because you don't want to give up the long pass, so let them catch it, you know, behind the line of scrimmage, and if they can run 5, 10 yards, that's fine, but you don't want them to get behind you because you're trying to be fancy and pick that off, or you got your defense up too tight.
Yeah, and I think, 10 yards with 23 seconds left isn't that big of a deal as long as they're not in the end zone.
No. So ball is on the 27, 28-yard line, it looks like. First and 10 for the Oswego Indians. Why don't we take a 30-second timeout? I think we're going to keep it here for right now. So Keith is in the huddle. No, he's definitely telling his guys, don't let him get behind you. Don't miss a tackle. And let's keep this a one-score game going into the halftime. You think about blitzing here, Anthony, or you play it safe?
Maybe mix it up with a linebacker, just one of the Mike linebackers, but I definitely wouldn't send any of the defensive backs or anybody that could be in coverage.
No, looks like the Indians are 3-man front, 2 linebackers, 3 D-backs. They're playing back shotgun. They're going to fake that little swing pass and throw it deep, and it looks like it's intercepted again. That was Trey Parker with his second interception of the night, and he's got a nice little return. He's still on his feet and gets taken down at about the 20, maybe the 19, 20-yard line. So that's third interception of the night for St. Paul Indians. That's the second interception for Trey, who's playing and doing a nice job as D-back, and Indians are able to stop the threat. Hey, there's Jeff Streppel.
So it looks like I am the lone wolf up here. My dad isn't talking.
We had to say hi to Jeff Streppel, longtime basketball coach for Oswego High School and great player at Oswego High School in his glory days. And yeah, he can't not say hi to him as he goes by. So the Indians are going to just kneel on it and run out the clock and go into the half. So 9 seconds left. They'll tick off here pretty quick. And looks like Coach Whitrick's going to be content being down 16-8. A nice half. Both teams have done good things, Anthony. Both teams have, made a mistake here and there, but I think all in all, after last week's game when you had trouble moving the ball, I think if you're Coach Whitrick, you're probably maybe not happy, but at least you're somewhat satisfied with the way the kids rebounded after last week's game, and so it's going to be 16-8. Let's take a 2-minute or a 1-minute timeout. Welcome back to Miles Field. Anthony, this is Ross Albertini with Anthony Albertini filling in for Dan Vitt and Mike McCracken, who are unavailable tonight. Anthony, you look at the score, it's 16-8. Oswego Indians have the lead. You can't be disappointed after last week's performance of we were able to move the ball that first half, and we kept Oswego from really doing a lot on offense, but it's a little frustrating because we started out, we jumped up 8-0. We played a really good, probably quarter and a half, and then Oswego just kind of slipped in there and had some momentum that last half of the second quarter, and we're able to get 2 quick touchdowns, which in 8-man football you can score 2 touchdowns pretty quick, and take the lead. But what do you think? Coach Whitrick is very good at halftime adjustments. You've played for him for 4 years, not too long ago. What do you think he's going to be telling the kids at halftime?
I think first of all he's probably just going to go tell his kids, hey, look, we can do it. They're only down 1 touchdown at halftime. Like you said, in 8-minute football, they scored 2 touchdowns really quick. So I think the major emphasis at halftime will probably be, like we talked about before the game, limiting the turnovers on offense and the big runs on defense. You know, we're really not getting nickel and dimed up and down the field. It's kind of just the big hitters that go for 30 yards or 20 yards.
Yeah, and, you know, that's just a little of that maybe is the youth and inexperience of the linebackers and D-backs on the St. Paul defense. I mean, our experience is up front with the big 3 guys. You know, your secondary and your back linebackers haven't played a lot of football. This is probably for some of them their second, you know, game playing varsity football, and they've done a very, very good job. But, you know, that's what you have to worry about is that inexperience. Sometimes they can catch you off guard. Like the last touchdown Oswego had, you know, everybody bit on the ball fake, and, you know, there wasn't anybody within 10 yards of him as he went around the corner. What do you think? You know, we ran the ball good early in the game. The run game kind of bogged down a little bit. You know, I'm sure Coach Fowler for Oswego made some adjustments. What do you think Keith does in this chess match to counteract that?
You know, towards the end of the half, passing kind of worked okay for us. I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Waltrip doesn't come out and throw the ball a little bit and then try to hit it up the gut.
Well, it will be interesting to see what he does. I don't have many stats. I do know, let's see, we had 3 interceptions. Oswego had 3 interceptions and maybe a fumble, so they're having some trouble with turnovers. And St. Paul had the 1 fumble that, well, 2 if you want to count the snap dropped on the punt attempt. You know, so turnovers on maybe a little bit of a wet field. It's not raining, but I'm sure the grass is wet. The field is moist, so the ball is going to be a little bit slick. Turnovers come into play, and when you have 4 or 6 turnovers in the half, you know, that's obviously going to be an issue. But I think the team that limits the turnovers in the second half is definitely going to have, you know, the best chance to win.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with that.
Well, let's take another 1-minute break. Hey, Cody? Hey, we'll just talk another minute, and then we'll probably just let you play a song or two. Oh, no big deal. No big deal. I think we missed one, and I think I asked to go real late, so I wasn't too worried about it. All right. So, yeah, put us back on. We'll just talk real brief, and then you can play some music. Welcome to Miles Field. We have about 9.5 minutes left at halftime. Game is 16 for Oswego Indians and 8 for the St. Paul Indians. Coaches are making their halftime adjustments. I don't know if we mentioned earlier, but it is homecoming night here at St. Paul. And they did the homecoming celebration right before the game. I think they're trying to get that, and like last week was Parents' Night, Anthony, to get those in just in case the COVID stuff happens and, you know, the season gets cut short. They want to get these things out of the way. So congratulations to the homecoming king, or queen, Katie Carter, and the king, Wilson Smith. So, Anthony, looks like the teams are down making their adjustments. Small town football, nobody has a locker room to go into. They go sit in the end zone and they talk about it. So, you know, when the weather's nice like it is tonight, that's not too bad. But when it's 0, it's not very fun at halftime, is it?
Yeah, definitely been out there when it's pretty cold and you get pretty stiff out there. So it's no fun.
Well, there's about a little less than 9 minutes left. We're going to let the radio station play a song or two before we come back.
And I would like to go ahead and I know my roommate Jace is listening to this and making fun of me. So please say a prayer for him. Nothing's wrong with him. He's just kind of ugly.
All right. Well, let's play a few songs. about 3 minutes left. I don't know where you're at on the music. If you want to, when the next song's over, you. Oh, you okay? Why don't we? Well, let's wait. I'll tell you. You just want me to tell you? Yeah, I'll just. Okay, not a problem. They're still in the hustle. I don't know if there's like 3 minutes left, but no one looks like they're coming to the field, so they'll have 2 more minutes. So we'll wait till we'll tell you. Cody, I think we're ready. Welcome back to Miles Field at St. Paul, Kansas, where the St. Paul Indians are trailing the Oswego Indians 16-8 at halftime. About 2 minutes and 20 seconds left before kickoff. The teams are stretching out and getting ready to go. Anthony, what players for St. Paul kind of caught your eye on good performances in that first half?
You know, Trey Peters, we mentioned his name quite a bit that first half. He played really well, and then Landon Beechner was able to come down with a couple pretty good snags. So those two really caught my eye. And then obviously I'm a big advocate for the offensive and defensive line. I thought the offensive line blocked really well, and the defensive line as a whole did pretty well. And really the defensive ends, you know, they let a couple get outside of them, but I thought they kept the edge pretty decently too.
Yeah, I think they anchored the edge very well. I mean, one of the touchdowns Oswego scored, they got the ball on the 14-yard line after a bad snap on a punt. So obviously they had a short field, and that puts a defense in a bad position. And even then they played a good series. It was 4th and 10, and they gave up the big play, unfortunately, you know, in the touchdown. But overall, the Indians really didn't give up a lot of big plays. They played pretty solid on defense. I think, You know, Keith or Coach Whitrick obviously is not going to be satisfied with the way the offense is playing, but I think he has to be happy that it's playing a lot better than it did the previous week. And, you know, again, you don't expect your team to be playing playoff level football the second week of the season when you had as much roster turnover as the Indians did this past season.
Yeah, and you know, beyond that, I think the Indians probably should be thankful that they're getting to play tonight, because I know there's a lot of teams across the state that are not getting a football season, and there's some that were supposed to have a game tonight that got canceled because of the worldwide pandemic. So I think they should be thankful for that too.
Yeah, you know, you don't realize what it's like not to play until you get to this point where you can't play.
Yeah, you're preaching to the choir there.
I know. So we got about 40 seconds left, so let's take a 30-second timeout, and we'll be back for the second half. Welcome back to St. Paul, Kansas. We got halftime scores: Oswego Indians 16, St. Paul Indians 8. The teams are getting ready to get back out on the field for the kickoff. I think St. Paul Indians received the kickoff to start the game, so Oswego will probably receive it to start the second half. What do you think St. Paul needs to do to get the lead back and get this game, Anthony?
You know, I think they need to settle down and probably just be careful with the ball and maybe limit some penalties this half too. You know, we didn't have a lot of penalties last half, but they came at some pretty inopportune times.
Yeah, you know, and Oswego kind of had that same bug as well. They had turnovers and bad penalties at bad times. I think whichever team can clean up those two things is going to have the advantage for this second half. Looks like Indians are lining up for the kickoff. Ivan Murillo is going to be the kicker. Again, big kid. You don't see many kids his size doing the kickoff duties at about 6'3", 240 pounds. Nice crowd tonight, Anthony.
Yeah, it is a nice crowd, which, you know, just because of the COVID and everything, I didn't know how it was going to be, but St. Paul always shows up to represent, so.
Yeah, so here we go. The refs are ready. They're blowing the whistle, and we are going to start the second half. Nice deep high kick by Ivan Murillo. Gets down to about the 2-3 yard line. Oswego does a reverse. St. Paul seems to be there for it, and a nice open field tackle by number 3, Trey Peterson, the guy you talked about at halftime, Anthony.
And that is the second time Oswego's tried to run the reverse on the kickoff. And the first time it might have gotten by us a little bit, but that time we were ready for it.
It's nice to see that we learn from something once it happens once. So Oswego Indians are going to line up at the 15, just past the 15-yard line, almost at the 16-yard line. St. Paul, they've kind of switched back and forth between a 3-man front and a 4-man front, but it looks like they're going to come out in their 4-man front.
Going to add Austin O'Hara as a defensive end there.
Yeah, Austin moving up from his linebacker spot. Oswego's in that short shotgun position. They hand it off to the back coming around. He looked like he was going to throw it. He decides to pull it down and run the ball, and he gets a nice gain on first down, but a good open field tackled by Landon Beechner.
And O'Hara came off the edge there, but he was just a second late, you know.
Yeah, and you know, he plays linebacker most of the time, so I'm sure switching to a down lineman position takes a little bit of an adjustment.
Yeah.
They were able to get around him, but it looked like they were maybe going to do a halfback pass on that play.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be second down and about 2, a long 2, maybe a short 3. Oswego is in that short shotgun formation with the back to the immediate left. They hike it to the back directly to number 6, Jake Hutchinson. He has a nice run around the right side. He breaks one tackle and drags the defender for about another 4 or 5 yards. What'd you see there, Anthony, that went wrong?
You know, we had a guy in position, but he wasn't able to bring the tackle down. I think that would have saved us, 10 yards, but it is what it is, and we were able to bring him down.
Yeah, I know. Talking with Coach Whitrick before the season, with our limited numbers, we only have, I think 15 kids, 14 kids, with some injuries. It's hard to go live during practice, and where you'll see problems with that is things like fundamentals, tackling, and those kind of things, because you don't want your kids to go hard because you can't afford to get anybody hurt. Indians got the ball 1st and 10 on about the 30-yard line. They run it off to the left side, and another big run. He's going to number 10. Jace Landers has a nice run. He's going to cut it back to the inside, and it's going to be a 31-yard touchdown run for him. Not the start I think the St. Paul Indians wanted to have, Anthony, out of the gate.
Yeah, and you know, it looked like Wilson Smith was going to be able to get him, but I think the kid was just a step faster than him.
Yeah, in 8-man football, of course, it doesn't take long to score touchdowns fast. So Oswego Indians come out with all of the momentum, and they get a quick touchdown. There's 10 minutes and 41 seconds left in the third quarter, and they have a 22-8 lead, and they're going for the 2-point conversion. They're in their short shotgun set. Snap it to the back, to the left of the quarterback, and he just kind of student bodies right around the corner, and they get the 2-point conversion for a 24-8 lead with a very quick, impressive drive by the Oswego Indians coming out of halftime. Let us take a 1-minute break.
Number 15, Kaiser Watrick, and number 18, Matthew Lestico, back to receive for St. Paul. Number 6, set to kick, Jake Hutchison for the Oswego Indians.
Welcome back to St. Paul, Kansas. St. Paul getting ready to receive the kick after the Oswego Indian touchdown. St. Paul is down 24-8 early in the third quarter. This is, I think, a big drive and a big time for the Indians because they need to get the momentum back, Anthony. They can't let this game get out of hand. It's a short kick, but it's going to roll deep. And it looks like number, who is that back? Is that 15, Kaiser Whitrick with the kickoff return. Oswego our special teams does a nice job of covering that kick, and it's going to be brought down about the 14, 15-yard line, it looks like. So I think, like I said, Anthony, the Indians need to have a sustained drive here to get some momentum back. They can't let Oswego get the ball back quick, with confidence. They need, I think, this is important for Oswego or for St. Paul to get a few first downs and get the momentum back.
Absolutely.
Indians come out and they're in a shotgun formation with running back to the left and a wing off to the right. They snap it back to Trey. He hands it off to, looks like, Landon Beechner. And Oswego Indians are there. They drive him back, or no, that was Kaiser Whitrick. I'm sorry, that was Kaiser with that carry. And he gets through the hole for maybe a yard or two, and then the two Oswego Indian defenders were there to push him back. But short gain on the play. Looks like it's going to end up being second down, and he got a little more than I thought on that. It's going to be second down and maybe a short 7, long 6. So not a bad play for first down. Oswego, or St. Paul comes out in the same formation. Well, trips right this time with Trey Peters as the quarterback. Oswego's got all their guys almost up on the line of scrimmage. Trey brings it around to the right side. Oh, looks like he got brought down. They kind of tackled him on the back of the shoulder pad.
Collar, yeah.
Could have been a horse collar, but the ref was right there, and he didn't make the call, so obviously he didn't think so.
Taken down again by number 33.
You know, what's interesting to me is when we get in that trips right, or trips in general, we bring Ivan Murillo off the line and stand him up on the strong trip side, and we only have a one-side weak side. So that's kind of interesting to me.
Yeah, I think he's trying to overload the defense, and regardless, that was about no gain on the play, so it's going to be third and about 7, long 6, short 7. Indians are spread out with twins to the left, quarterback in the shotgun position. Kaiser Whitrick goes in motion to the left. Trey throws the ball over the middle, and intercepted. He just he had pressure in his face on that one, Anthony, and he kind of just threw it over the middle where the receiver was, but the defender was right there waiting for it, And Oswego comes up with a big break early in the third quarter. So, like we talked about, the key to this second half was to avoid the turnovers. And, right out of the gate, St. Paul throws the interception.
Yeah, and that's a tough situation for a young quarterback. There's a lot of traffic through there, and he was pressured.
Yeah, a lot of guys crossing, and then the guy right in his face, and he tried to make the play, and unfortunately it didn't work out. Oswego Indians come out. They in the short shotgun formation. They fake to the back. Running back takes to the right side. Oh, they had him wrapped up in the backfield. He still ends up only getting a short gain of about 2 or 3 yards, but D lineman got through there. I think that was Ivan, and it looked like he had him wrapped up for about a 3 or 4 yard loss, and he was able to slip out of the tackle and still pick up a couple of yards. When you're a D lineman, Anthony, and you got your chance to get the guy in the backfield and he slips through your fingers like that, how does that make you feel?
It's pretty frustrating. You don't get that opportunity very often, so you usually want to capitalize on that. But
I thought you were going to say that never happened to me, but apparently not. Snap is to the Oswego Indians. They do a little reverse fake, and this looks like the same play that they scored a touchdown on in the first half. Number 10 went in untouched. Jace Landis, he's had multiple touchdowns tonight. And that is about a 30-yard touchdown run, 31-yard touchdown run for the Oswego Indians. Well, Anthony, they ran that play earlier where they hike it to the back who goes to the right, and they kind of just a little reverse with the running back. The wing off on that right side comes back around, and they give it to him, and the defense just all went to the right and left that left side wide open, and he kind of went in untouched. Yeah. Extra point. Oswego Indians just run it right up the gut. 2-point conversion is good. And quickly, the Oswego Indians have jumped out with 2 touchdowns here in the third quarter to kind of take control of things. They're up 32-8. Let's take a 1-minute timeout.
Number 15, Kaiser Watrick, and number 18, Matthew Lestico. Back to receive for St. Paul. Number 6, getting ready to kick off for Oswego, Jake Hutchison.
Welcome back to St. Paul, Kansas. Oswego Indians getting ready to kick off after the touchdown. They're up 32-8. Kickoff goes deep. Kaiser Watrick gets it. Runs it to the right side, gets around the first defender, makes him miss, gets up the sidelines. Oh, man, that was a hard hit. It looked like he was a yard or 2 out of bounds. I think the refs could have easily thrown a flag for late hit, but they did not throw the flag on that one. What'd you see, Anthony?
Well, I think actually Coach Watrick just got a flag thrown on him, but I think Coach Watrick has every right to be mad because that was a late hit, and it was even helmet to helmet, which is illegal at the high school level. You can't do that. That is targeting.
Yeah, so all of a sudden a nice return by Kaiser, getting back to about the 25-yard line. It's probably going to be nullified by Coach Watrick, who had every right to be upset. I mean, I don't blame him one bit. That looked like a late hit, maybe a little helmet-to-helmet contact like you said. But obviously he said something the refs didn't like, so instead of getting the call, we actually had the penalty thrown against us. So backing us up 15 yards and putting the offense in a little bit of a hole, unfortunately. What do you do if you're the coach or you're in the huddle, Anthony, to try to get the momentum back, to try to get things going again?
I think the biggest thing would be to make sure your players know that they can do it. They can obviously score on these guys. They put one up pretty quick in the first half. I think they just, like you said, lost momentum, and I think they need to know that they can do it and gain some confidence back in themselves.
Yeah, this game is kind of similar to last week's game in that St. Paul went in at halftime only down a touchdown, although tonight we were definitely able to move the ball better the first half. But we come into the second half only down a touchdown, and for whatever reason, the kids just have a little trouble getting going in that second half as compared to the other team. Indians come out in a shotgun formation, trips to the left. Trey Peters is the quarterback. Here comes the snap. We're going to do a little student body right, and looks like he is going to be caught in the backfield. I think someone might have missed a block on that one, Anthony.
Yeah, it looked like the defensive end got through there pretty quick.
Yeah, so not a good start to the series. Loss of about 4 yards, so it's going to be second down and 14. And you know that play, you can't complain about the play call because we've ran that play quite a bit tonight and over the course of the last few years, and it works very well a lot of the time. So that's just one of those times where maybe someone lost focus and let the block get through, or the defender get through, and you know it's just a bad play. But the good thing about football is there is always another play to call. St. Paul is in the shotgun, twins to the right. Kaiser Whitrick goes in motion to the right. It's going to be a pass. Trey throws it up, and oh,
wow.
Well, it hit the Oswego defender who wasn't looking for it, and it bounced off his helmet and almost fell into the hands of the St. Paul receiver, Landon Beechner, but it ended up on the ground. Looks like Landon is on the ground, maybe a little injured. So let's take a 30-second timeout while the St. Paul trainers look at him. Welcome back to Miles Field. St. Paul down 32-8 early in the third quarter. A one-touchdown game has turned quickly into a three-touchdown deficit for the Indians. We're coming back out. Landon Beechner was on the ground. Looks like just some cramps. He's up and he's kind of limping off the field, but I think he'll be okay. St. Paul is very lucky, Anthony, to have Nick Jacquinot as their trainer. I don't know. He's a science teacher, but he used to be a trainer for the Pitt State Gorillas, and I think he even interned for the Kansas City Chiefs as a trainer at one time.
Yeah, he was, and Mr. J's kind of gotten me out of a couple tight spots, you know, when it comes to some injuries, and he's also told me I couldn't play a couple times because of injuries, but, you know, we are very fortunate to have Mr. J, and he's a pretty knowledgeable guy.
He did say because of injuries you couldn't play, right?
Yeah, it was a broken bone.
Oh, okay.
Just his job.
Yeah, I see. But no, so Nick does a good job. I know the kids, you know, they know he knows what he's doing. That gives them a lot of confidence. But Landon's getting stretched out. The rest of the Indians are back on the field, and we're getting ready to resume play. It's going to be second down and about 14. Indians are in a twins to the right formation with Kaiser Beechner to the left of the quarterback. And they snap it back to Trey. He looks to pass. A quick hitter to Wilson Smith, but it went through his arms, through his hands, a little bit high. Could have been caught, but it wouldn't have been an easy catch. It went through his hands and fell incomplete.
Third down and 14
so,
for St. Paul.
Again, this isn't the start I think Coach Whitrick thought about. You know, when he came out of halftime, Anthony, Oswego has had the ball twice, scored twice. St. Paul has had the ball once, or this is the second possession. We've had one turnover, and now it's 3rd and 14. And we're going to have a timeout for St. Paul Indians. Coach Whitrick didn't see something that he liked, so we're going to take a timeout. Let's take a 30-second timeout.
Is trailing the Oswego Indians 32-8.
Welcome back to Miles Field here in St. Paul. St. Paul trails Oswego Indians 32-8. There's just under 7 minutes left in the third quarter. If you're just tuning in, St. Paul was only down 16-8 at halftime, but Oswego has put up 2 quick touchdowns here in the third quarter, and St. Paul has had a little difficulty moving the ball, a little bit reminiscent of last week. They've moved the ball better definitely the first half. Second half has just been a little bit tough for them. It is 3rd down and 14. Trey Peters is back in the shotgun position. Here comes the snap. He's going to, looks like he's going to pass. No, he's going to carry it around the right side. He has a nice hole. There's some good blocks out there. Oswego ends up swarming to the ball fairly quickly and ends up holding him to a gain of maybe 4 or 5 yards. Well, it looked longer than that. It looks like they're only going to give him, nope, they're going to give him about 2 yards on that carry. It looked like there was going to be something there, Anthony, and the play closed off. What happened?
Yeah, you know, I think it just kind of got strung out by that defensive end, and he was moving forward, but not super quick because there were guys everywhere, and I think he just got caught up with.
Punting is Ivan Murillo on 4th down and 12. I think they need a good punt here because they got to try to flip that field. Oh, he drops it, but he's able to kick it anyway, and Indians Oswego gets out of the way, and they let it roll, and we get a nice St. Paul bounce. It ends up being a pretty good punt for a play that didn't really start out pretty.
Yeah, that's not bad. You know, the punt itself didn't go very far, but the roll was pretty lucky.
Yeah, so Oswego Indians are going to end up with the ball on their own 35-yard line, which is close to midfield. Obviously, this is 8-man football, and midfield's 40-yard line. So I think the defense needs to stop the bleeding right here, Anthony.
Yeah, hopefully they get a little momentum going and maybe even a little bit of excitement. I think that would do a lot for them right now.
Yeah, we just need a big play to get some fire back. The kids just look a little, you know, well, shell-shocked when you come out and give up a couple of touchdowns. Oswego, they hand it to the quarterback fakes it and runs it up the middle. One man to beat. Trey makes the tackle, so nice open field tackle by Trey Peters on that. He did his job. Unfortunately, he made the tackle about 15 yards down the field.
Yeah, you know, it is great that he does his job, but safety's not the guy you want making that tackle for sure.
No, and that's a play that Oswego sets up, you know, pretty good. They fake, you know, they'll hand off the ball to one back, then they'll hand it off to the other back, and then, you know, eventually the quarterback just pulls out of both of them and runs up the middle, and they've had a couple of big gains with that play. Oswego still in that short shotgun formation. St. Paul in a 3-2 defense. And they hand it to the back going up the middle, and he's going to have, well, there's 2 flags. He gets through the defenders, breaks the tackle, and ends up in the end zone, but 2 refs threw 2 flags at the same time, so it was pretty obvious there was something went awry in there as far as the blocking goes.
Yeah, I see an Oswego Indian. He looks kind of upset out there. I would imagine it's going to be holding or blocking the back.
Looks like, is that the one that went over to the sidelines that the coach is talking to right now?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, it looked like a play that he only had one guy touch him and he broke that tackle, but obviously he only had one guy touch him because the blocking was not done legally. It's going to be blocking the back, or holding on the Indians, Oswego Indians, so nice penalty at the right time for St. Paul. Still going to end up being, though, first down and about 9 because they're calling and they marked it off from the spot of the foul, which is pretty far downfield.
First down at 9 for Oswego.
Oswego comes out in the same formation, that short shotgun set with their back off to the left. They'll hike it to either one of them. They end up hiking it to the back, and he just is going to do a student body power run to the right, gets through the hole, ends up dragging a couple of Indians 2 or 3 yards, and has probably about a 9-yard gain. And it looks like he might end up with the first down on that. What do you do to stop that, Anthony? When they just keep running that ball to that same spot, what kind of adjustment do you make?
You know, I'm not sure. We've even jumped into the 4-man front. I would maybe look to see if we could stun a little bit. I would expect that.
Have you seen a lot of stunting out of St. Paul tonight?
No, I haven't. You know, I did watch O'Hara come off the edge a couple times when he's in the 4-man front, but aside from that, I haven't seen a whole lot.
Well, and some of that's just probably you have a young team.
And these guys throw, yeah.
Yeah, and these guys throw. Oswego comes out in that same short shotgun set with the back off to the right. They hike it to the back, and they're just going to kind of run the student body to the opposite side this time. Nice open field tackle by number 30.
Number 6,
Peyton Norris.
Running the ball once again.
That is positive yards for Oswego Indians, about a 6 to 7 yard gain on that one. So Oswego has the ball on about the 10-yard line, leading St. Paul Indians 32-8, and they're knocking on the door again. They come up and same formation they've pretty much been in all night. Every once in a while they'll throw a little curveball in there, but quarterback with the man off to his left, they hike it to the running back. They're just going to student body right this time, and he gets in and looks like he is going to be tackled at about the 1-yard line. So they've ran into the same play three times in a row, just different directions, and it's worked about every time, Anthony.
Yeah, it just seems like things aren't going our way right now.
No, and of course when you don't have very many kids on the sidelines, depth is an issue, and fatigue and those kind of things can start setting in right now as well.
And then we've seen a couple cramps and so on.
So it's going to be second and goal from, it looks like, maybe the 1 foot line. So Oswego does not have far to go. They're in the same short shotgun formation. They hike it to the quarterback, who just goes straight up the middle for a touchdown.
Touchdown, Oswego.
Looks like, if I can get a number, we'll tell you who scored that.
Might have been the quarterback. I think it might have been just quarterback draw.
Just a quarterback draw. Looked like that was either Jace. I think it was Jace Landis.
Score 38-8.
Nice run by Jace. He scored a couple of touchdowns tonight as well. So looks like the Oswego Indians are going to go for the 2-point conversion with a 38-8 lead with 4 minutes left in the third quarter.
See if we can get a stop on this 2-point conversion here.
Yeah, they've scored every 2-point conversion so far tonight. Oswego in the same short shotgun formation. They hike it to the back, who just going to run that student body to the left formation or play that they ran. He gets in, but there is a flag. It looks like it's going to maybe be in the area of holding. Yep, that's what the ref's signaling. So it's going to be a 10-yard penalty on the 2-point conversion. How do you get the kids fired up when things seem a little flat right now? How do you try to keep their energy up at this time if you're the coach, Anthony?
You know, I don't know. It looks to me like they need a big hit or something, you know, really to get them going. But I don't know what Coach Watcher would say.
Looks like they're going to be in that same formation, about a 12-yard extra point attempt. They're going to fake and they're going to drop back to pass. Here comes the rush. Peyton Norris is chasing the quarterback. He gets around, gets a hand on him. He still gets the pass off, and it is caught for the 2-point conversion. Nice pass rush by Peyton Norris. He had a hand on the quarterback, and the quarterback just kind of threw it up in the air, and there was about 2 receivers in that vicinity where the ball was going and able to make the catch and the conversion. So 4 minutes left in the third quarter, 40-8 Oswego. Let's take a 30-second timeout. Welcome back to Miles Field. St. Paul Indians having a little tough start to the third quarter, down 40-8. Just down 1 score, starting out the second half, and things have kind of happened very quickly, as Ron Burgundy would say. That escalated quickly. We're going to have another penalty on the kickoff. Looks like Oswego was offsides as they got started.
You know, I don't know if that was a dad joke or just a bad joke.
You know, I think I get credit for both of those. I'll take both. But don't worry, I have a lot more where that came from.
Well, trust me, I know.
All right. They're going to back Oswego Indians up 5 yards, and they're going to re-kick it. Back deep looks like we have Kaiser Weitrick and Vincent Smith. You know, the score says 40-8. And Oswego has played a very good second half, but the reality of it is, and you see this in 8-man football, there's not a lot of difference in the two teams, really. It's just, you know, you can score 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns pretty quick in 8-man football. Here comes the kick. It's going to be short. It's going to go past Lestico, and Kaiser Weitrick lets it go out of bounds. So we're going to have a penalty for kicking the ball out of bounds, and see if Coach Weitrick elects to take the ball up short or makes them re-kick it.
Yeah, I don't know if you scoot them back and have a kick it again. I don't know how you play this one out.
Well, I think if you think you have a kick returner that can return it, you know, for a touchdown, you make him re-kick it. If you had trouble with field position, you just better take the field position. Looks like we're going to take the field position. So it is going to be 1st and 10 from the
25.
Oh, no, they're going to put it on the 30 because they kicked it off 5 yards back after the offsides. So good field position for the Indians. I think, you know, I don't know if you can get back in this game when you're down 40-8 late in the third quarter, but I think this is a big drive because you want to try to get some confidence and momentum going into next week.
Yeah, and you like to see a little bit of fight, you know?
Yeah, that's what you want to see, some fight, and see that the kids aren't giving up. Because I think Oswego is one of the better teams on our schedule as well. I think we're going to have some games that we can win this year, and, you know, you just want to see the kids not give up, lose their confidence before you get to that stretch of the schedule. Handoff goes to Kaiser Weitrick up the middle. Looks like there was a little confusion between him and the quarterback on the exchange, where he wasn't able to plant and go fast. So there's going to end up being about maybe a 1 yard loss or a no gain on the play.
Yeah, and you know, what you see, it says a lot, I think, for some of these guys is helping the running back up after the play. You know, I think that says a lot for our team when we're good enough teammates to do that. It's the little things like that that matter.
Yeah, and, you know, the season is early. We have a lot of young kids, and they're going to get better. They're going to improve. It's kind of tough when you have to play two really good teams right out of the gate when your kids are trying to, you know, get the experience that they need. But like I said, I think this team, Coach Weitrick, he's a good coach. He knows what he's doing. They will get the ship righted, and they're going to get some wins this year. Trey Peters tries to fakes the handoff and tries to bootleg around the right side, but the defensive end stayed home. The linebacker came in to clean it up, and not much gain on that play as well, so it's going to be 3rd and 10. And you can see Oswego, we passed the ball a little bit right before half, and you think maybe they would back up a little bit with their D-backs, but they're bringing everybody pretty tight to the line. It's going to be hard to run the ball when they got 7 guys up there tight like that.
Yeah, they're still playing pretty aggressive.
Indians come out in the I formation with Vincent Smith and Kaiser in the backfield. It's going to be a play-action fake. Throws up. The guy is wide open. Oh, just a little bit over his head. That was a nice called play. It was good execution. Just the pass just sailed over Peyton's head just a little bit. He was wide open though.
Yeah, and you know when the quarterback's on the run, rolling out towards him, that's a tough pass to make.
Yeah, that is for a sophomore who hasn't played. This is his 2nd varsity game. That you are asking for a lot there. It's going to be 4th and 10 from the St. Paul 30-yard line. St. Paul Indians trailing 40-8 with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Are they going to punt it? Ivan is back in punt formation. Here comes the snap. He gets it. Gets a nice kickoff. Fielded by number 10, Jace Landis, is about the 20-yard line. Nice little return up the middle. He gets to midfield, but there is a flag on the play.
I think that's going to be a block in the back.
Yeah, you know, Oswego has played a very good second half, but they have had quite a few penalties this game.
Yeah, and it has hurt them at times, but they're making up for it.
Well, St. Paul Indians, this is the game that started out very well. They got up 8-0 early. Looked a lot different than they did the week before. I think that's a positive thing you can take out of this game. But like I said, second half, first week at the end this week has kind of been a trouble for the Indians. So it is going to be, instead of 1st and 10 at midfield, it is going to be 1st and 10 at about the 17-yard line.
That's a long penalty.
That's a long penalty. Indians come out in a 3-man front. St. Paul Indians come out in a 3-man front. Oswego's in that short shotgun set. They hand it to the first back through. He has a nice hole up the middle and breaks a tackle. It looks like Trey's the last guy there. Trey's got him wrapped up. He pulls him for about 5 more yards. I think it looks like St. Paul is just a little bit tired, which you can tell because they're not making the tackles or getting to the hole nearly as good as they were the first half.
Yeah, it is nice to see Austin O'Hare, though. You know, he came back. I think he might even blitz that play, and he ended up helping make the tackle down the field. That's a nice hustle play out of him.
Yeah, and that's what you expect out of Austin because that kid gives you 100% every time. That was a nice 24, 20, about a 30-yard run on that play, Anthony. So Oswego took bad field position and flipped that around pretty quick. Looks like it's going to be 1st and 10 from about the St. Paul 31-yard line. St. Paul's back in a 4-man front. Snap it to number 6. He just goes right around the corner. They were able to get around the end, and he has a nice run on 1st down. And you can just see us being a little bit tired. We're making contact, and they're able to drag us another 3 or 4 yards, it seems like, after contact. So you can just see that we're out of fire right now. We just need something to kind of get us going again.
And these Oswego backs, they do run hard.
Yes, they do, and they're not small kids. They have good-sized backs back there. Minute 40 left in the third quarter. Oswego still up 40-8. It's going to be 1st and 10 from about the 13-yard line. Oswego's in that short shotgun set. They hike it directly to number 11, who goes right up the middle. That's is that 11.
That's Lance Teal on the
Lance
carry.
Teal. That's what I thought. Right up the middle for
1:15 left to go
about
in
a
the third quarter.
about an
Oswego
8-yard
Indians
gain.
Leading St. Paul 40-8.
Crowd.
Landon Beechner still getting checked out on the sideline here.
Yeah, hopefully they can get him back in because he gives them a big play threat that, we need on the outside. Oswego lines up in the same formation they've been in all night. They snap it to the back, who just fakes a handoff and runs it straight up the middle for another Oswego Indian
Jay
touchdown.
Hutchinson keeps the ball, runs it in for
That
an
is,
Oswego touchdown. Makes the score 46-8.
Jake Hutchinson with that run.
Oswego ahead of
40
the St. Paul Indians.
46-8 with 42 seconds left in the third quarter. I'm sorry. I think Oswego has scored on every drive this quarter, haven't they, Anthony?
Yeah, I think so. And their offense does create a lot of confusion in the backfield. It is kind of tricky to keep your eye on the football back there.
Yeah, you have to stay focused every play and every down with those guys. There's a reason Coach Fowler has run a couple of state championships. Extra point attempt snapped. It's going to be a pass, throws it up in the end zone, and it is caught and good. So it is now 48-8, and Oswego Indians have a 40-point lead with only 40 seconds left in the third quarter. Let's take a 1-minute timeout. Oh, it's right here.
I can text Keith. Oh.
Number 2 sets kickoff for the Oswego
Welcome back to
Indians.
St. Paul, Kansas, here at Miles Field. Here we are late in the third quarter, but 40 seconds left before the fourth quarter. St. Paul is down 48-8. This game turned around really quickly here in the third quarter. It was a 16-8 game at half, and Oswego has made some pretty good adjustments and has not been stopped yet on any of their drives this quarter. And they do a short kickoff that the refs are confused. I'm confused. I think, are you confused, Andy?
I am a little confused also, yes.
I think they lined up and they tried to kick it quick to catch St. Paul off guard, but I don't think the refs had blown the whistle yet saying it was okay to kick it. So we're going to put it on the tee and do it all over again. Back deep is Vincent Smith and Kaiser Wytrick. St. Paul down 48-8. And here's the kick. It's kind of short up to Lestico. That's his third kickoff return he's had tonight. He does a nice job returning the kicks.
Yeah.
Gets the ball back up to about the 33, 34-yard line. Took a little good shot. For a freshman, he did a nice job of holding on to that ball.
I think he's having some fun with it, too.
Well, that's good. That's what it's all about. He probably came in tonight not thinking he was ever going to touch the ball, and here he's done it. He's caught it 3 times.
Yeah.
Well, again, I think you can say the same thing we did before the last series started. It'd be nice to get some yards, some positive yards, and let the kids get some confidence knowing that they can move the football. St. Paul comes out in the trips right formation with Trey Peters as the quarterback in the shotgun formation. It's going to be, he fakes the run. He's going to throw it. He's got a man open. Peyton Norris with a nice over-the-shoulder catch. A nice play there, Anthony. Trey Peters put that right on the money. Norris made the catch, and it's about a 30-yard gain on that play.
Yeah, when you draw that play up, I think that's how you envision it looking.
Yeah, and we've talked about, you talked about earlier, you run certain plays to set up certain things, and we've been running that trips formation all evening long and running the quarterback, in your student body right type of play. And that time he faked, he took about 2 steps like he was going to run it, and he dropped back, and they caught the defense off guard, and you set the play up to work just like it did. Indians come out in the I formation, going to play a little power football. They hand it to Kaiser Weitrick, who bounces it out to the outside, but there was nowhere to go, and he ends up with about a 3 or 4 yard loss on that play.
Kaiser Weitrick brought down to the back.
Just wasn't anybody there, Anthony. What happened on the line?
It looked like the defensive line really kind of hit all their assignments, and there really just wasn't a place for him to go. All the gaps were full, and there was a linebacker out on the edge.
Yeah, and it's just tough. Kaiser runs harder than heck, but he doesn't weigh a whole lot. And when you weigh $130, $140, it's hard to run over 2 defenders who are waiting for you. Well, we're into the third quarter. Let's take a 1-minute break.
I've never done that. Not all it's practice. Yeah. Actually, I've done just about everything else besides rep. No, I definitely rather be sitting up here. We should be. It should be second.
Welcome back to Miles Field. We're getting ready to start the fourth quarter. St. Paul Indians are trailing 48-8. The score looks pretty lopsided, but really if you take out this third quarter, it's been a pretty evenly matched game. But, we've mentioned this a few times, Anthony, but an 8-man football, you can score pretty quick. And, Oswego has, I think they've scored every drive this quarter, and they've been fast drives, so they've gotten the ball back quickly. And, it's now the game's pretty lopsided at this point.
Yeah, Oswego kind of has the momentum right now, so I think what we're looking for is a shift in that. It'd be nice to see something big happen here.
Yeah, Indians come out. It's going to be second down at about 11 from looks like about the 13, 14-yard line. They come out in the shotgun formation with twins to the left. Trey Peters takes the snap. He's going to make the pass. He throws it up into the corner. 2 Indians there. Ref thought about pass interference, but he grabbed the flag and started to pull it out, but then he let it stay. And that was probably a good no call. I mean, the defender was there. There was a little contact, but he was about there about the time the ball was there. So
I think that was a good pass. I think it looked like it just went right through the receiver's hands.
Yeah, so just having trouble getting any breaks this third quarter, or second half. It is now 3rd and 13 for the Indians. Again, the ball at about the 12, 13-yard line, probably in 4-down territory. When you're down 48-8, you're probably in 4-down territory most of the time at this point in the game. St. Paul is in the trips formation to the left with Trey Peters as the quarterback. Here comes the snap. He's going to run it, and it looks like number 30 for Oswego. They ran to the opposite side, number 30, but he just crashed through the line and chased down Trey. That was maybe 33. I can't see that far.
It was 32, I think.
32, Mason Mills. That was a nice play by the offside defensive end, chasing the quarterback down. So it's going to be 4th down. That was probably about a 2 or 3 yard loss. So it's now about 4th and 15. Coach Weitrick's talking it over with Trey. Your playbook probably, we've had a lot of 4th and 3rd and longs and 4th and longs tonight, so probably every play you have for that situation has been used at one time or the other tonight.
Looks like there's going to be a timeout called by Coach Weitrick.
Timeout, give him a little more time to draw up something. Well, let's take a 30-second timeout while Coach Weitrick talks it over with the boys. back to St. Paul. We are early into the fourth quarter, 11 minutes left in the fourth quarter. St. Paul Indians are trailing 48-8 to the Oswego Indians. If you're just now joining us, St. Paul and Oswego had a really good, hard-fought first half. It was 16-8 at halftime, but the third quarter, second half has been all Oswego Indians at this point. St. Paul is just kind of running in the same bug that bit him in the first season, or in the opening game against Sedan, and that they just are having trouble moving the ball this second half. They're going to have 4th down and 14. St. Paul is in the Twins right formation. Trey Peters in the backfield. He's going to hand it off to Kaiser, who flips it off to Vincent Smith, who breaks a tackle. Oh, that started out to be a very good play. It was a little trickery there. The quarterback hands it off to Kaiser Weitrick going to his right, and then he flips it to Wilson Smith coming around the end. He broke a tackle, and he had room to run, but as he broke the tackle, he just kind of lost his balance and was able to go ahead about 4 or 5 more yards and fell to the ground. So St. Paul will turn it over on downs, although they did pick up a couple of first downs, had a nice pass play, and, you know, at least move the ball downfield a little bit on that one, Anthony.
Yeah, that was an improved drive for sure.
Well, we are at the point in the game where if Oswego scores a touchdown on this drive, the game will be over. We're going to see how much fight the boys have in at this point to see if they, you know, can keep it close, or if Oswego starts subbing in their second string.
I would really like to see some drive and some fight here, and just watch them not give up.
Yeah. Indians are still in their 3-man front. Oswego fakes it to the hand up back. Number 6 keeps it and goes up the middle, cuts it back to the left. That was Jake Hutchinson. Broke a tackle. Looked like a lot of running, but there really wasn't much gain there.
Brought down by Wilson Smith, number 42.
Yeah, Wilson's had quite a few tackles tonight. He's done a nice job on defense. About a 4-yard gain on that first down, so it's going to be second down and long 6 or a short 7.
Looks like we're going to stick to our 3-man front here.
Oswego brings in 2 more players from the sidelines. They have a little bit more depth, it looks like, than us, and that always makes a difference in the second half as well. They're playing that same formation they've pretty much been in all night. They hike it to the back, who just runs straight up the middle. Looks like he's going to have a nice game. Oh, he fumbles the ball. The ball's on the ground.
I don't know
who. We're going to see
Yeah.
St. Paul Indians have it. That was a nice play. It was a good run by Oswego. They snapped it directly to the running back, who was the left of the quarterback. He just went straight up the middle. There was a huge hole there. He ends up with about a 15-yard gain. But when the St. Paul Indian defenders got to him, they just stripped the ball out, which was a smart play on their part. Went to the ground, and they get the turnover.
Yeah, we had 2 guys that were able to fall onto it.
Oh, they're gonna. Are they? Okay, they're giving it to St. Paul. I said they looked like Oswego was lining up on offense for a second.
Yeah, the chains can't quite figure it out.
Well, they lose focus too at this point in the game.
That is the wrong way.
Chains are in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna be
Easy first down for us.
Yeah,
Chains
that's
are
right.
backwards.
They've had a long night too.
Yeah.
There we go. We got the chain set up. One back in the backfield, Vincent Smith. Trey Peterson throws a quick hitter to Landon Beechner. Oh, nice. Landon keeps his feet. Nice play by Landon there. Landon had been on the sidelines with what we think was cramps. He gets back in the game, and Landon has that kind of big play ability. He has good speed on the outside, and it was just a simple, you know, stand up and flare or throw it to him as fast as you can, and they had him stopped for about a 2-yard gain. He was able to slip the tackle and gets 10, 11 yards on the play. Nice play by Landon.
Yeah, and you know, a quick first down like that could be just enough to give our guys a little bit of fire up there.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this for the last couple of possessions, but it's just nice to see us get a little ball movement and get some, you know, get the chains moving and just get some confidence as we head into week 3. St. Paul, one back in the backfield. Trey Peters under center. He's going to hand it to Vincent, who just runs right up the middle. Oh, man, if he could have got by the defender there on the line, that's number 56 or 58.
He's 58, and I think he was the nose guard.
Dakota Figura. If he would have gotten by him, there was a lot of running room. He just had that one man to beat, but give the defender credit. He made the tackle, so it ends up being a no gain on the play.
Looks like Oswego's making some substitutions in there.
Yep. 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Oswego up 48-8. St. Paul's got the ball in Oswego territory on about the, looks like the 25-yard line. Second 10. Indians are in the I formation. They hand it to Landon Beechner, who was playing the tailback. Nice run by Landon. Nice hole there. Gets about probably 7-8 yards on the carry.
Got a pretty good push up front there. And Landon Beechner, like we pointed out a couple times, he's pretty quick.
Yeah, they ran to, the size with Ethan Stone King and Ivan Murillo, and those are the two biggest guys on the field. And they did a nice job of opening that hole. And, probably one of the biggest holes we've had to run through all night. And Landon, hit it hard and got a nice pickup of 8 yards on the play. He's kind of coming off, looks like he's still cramping up a little bit, so Kaiser Whitrick's back in. Indians come in, one back in the Kaiser in the backfield, Trace Peters under center with Vincent Smith out to the outside. They're going to hand it to Kaiser right up the middle.
It's going to be brought down quick.
Brought down quick. Number 7, Jesse Bloomer. We've called his name a lot tonight. He's done a good job. A couple of touchdowns and a nice tackle on that play. I don't know. He came off that. Is he the right defensive end, Anthony?
I think so, yeah.
Yep. I don't know. Is that a play where we don't block the defensive end since we're trying to do the quick hitter up the middle, or you think he just got past his guy?
Yeah. I mean, generally, if it's right up the gut, we kind of leave the defensive end hanging out there, and I think he's done it just perfect. Just
made the right play at the right time. Trips to the right with Trey Peters in the shotgun position. We're just going to run student body right. Looks like he cut it upfield and he slipped, which the field is a little wet, although we really haven't had many kids slip tonight. He fell forward for maybe a yard or two. I thought if he would have just kept going to the outside, it looked like we were kind of pushing that right side defensive end back. We might have had a little more yards.
Not enough for a first down. That will be a
turnover. That was turnover on downs. That was fourth down on that one, Anthony.
Yep.
You were supposed to catch that.
I can't do everything.
Well, it's still 48-8. St. Paul trailing by 40 points here early in the middle of the fourth quarter. 7 minutes, 27 seconds left. Turnover on downs. Oswego Indians will have the ball on about the 19-yard line. Looks like they've subbed in some of the younger kids on the Oswego side of the ball. They snap it to big hole for this kid. Oh, he's not gonna. I don't know if we're gonna catch him. Looks like we are going to. He is down to the
half-yard line.
Half-yard line.
Saw a lot of hustle out of, I think that was Wilson Smith there.
Yeah, 3 St. Paul kids.
Yeah.
They were behind him, and they did not give up on the play. So give him credit for not letting him go.
I think it says a lot when the probably the third biggest guy out there on the field is trying to chase him down, helps make the play. I think that says a lot.
That's good senior leadership there, good example. It's going to be 1st and goal on about the 4-yard line for the Oswego Indians. There was just a big hole. It was just a standard student body right play, and he just kept running. There was a lot of space for him to go. Kind of have a broken play with a penalty on the play, but if the play stands, Wilson Smith did a nice job, who you just talked about him a second ago, for getting the Oswego Indian ball carrier down for about a 3-yard loss. Let's sort this out and see what happens. I'm going to think it's on Oswego Indians, probably a procedure call as fast as they threw the flag. Calling an illegal shift on the Oswego Indians. St. Paul is going to decline the penalty, and it's going to be 2nd down and 5. There's a loss of about 2 yards on the play.
2nd down and goal.
Yeah, we'll see what St. Paul does here.
Yes.
They might move to the 4-man front given the field position.
So it's going to be 2nd down and 5 from the 5-yard line. Oswego punches this in. The game will end early. In that same short shotgun formation, they hike it directly to the running back to the left, who makes a cut and slips and falls for about a 1-yard gain. I don't know. Does anybody get the tackle on that play?
No,
when the
I
guy
don't think
falls
so.
down?
Turf monster.
Turf monster.
Running the ball once again. 3rd down and 5.
Ivan was there, though. I think he would have made it.
Yeah, so we'll give that tackle to Ivan. So it's going to be, looks like 1-yard gain, so it's going to be 3rd down and 4 from the 4-yard line. Wilson comes off the field for a break. Indians are in the 4-man front. Oswego's in that short shotgun formation with the running back to the left. They'll hike it to either one of them. It goes to the quarterback, who's going to try to run around the end. Kaiser about had him for about a 5-yard loss, but he is able to get around the end, get in the end zone for the touchdown.
And that's good for an Oswego touchdown.
With that touchdown, that makes the score 54-8, which invokes the 45-point rule in 8-man football. So the game is going to end with 5 minutes and 54 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Let's take a 1-minute break, and then Anthony and myself will come back for a recap of the game.
Where's Mason Winter at tonight?
What?
Where's Mason Winter at tonight?
I don't know.
They'd give me a few dirty looks.
Wonder if he's not on quarantine.
What?
Wonder if he's not on quarantine.
He might be.
All right. Yeah, I think I must have something wrong with my router at home because after you reset it or setting up on my computers, I ran it all day with that problem. Really? Was not booted off one time. At home, it'll boot me off 15 times a day.
Welcome back to Miles Field. The game just ended a few minutes ago. St. Paul lost. What did the final score end up being? 50.
It was 54-8.
54-8. The game ended early with the 45-point rule in 8-man football. I know the score doesn't indicate it, Anthony, but I think at least, especially in the first half, you saw improvement in the St. Paul Indians from week 1 to week 2. The offense looked a little better. They were able to move the ball, and which I'm sure they worked on all week long. The defense played pretty solid the first half as well. It was a one-score game, and things just kind of fell apart at halftime.
Yeah, I think there's probably a couple factors that go into that. First off, it looked like we only had 4 or 5 kids on the sideline at a time, so I think a lot of our big guys didn't get a break, and that can kind of wear you down when you're in there. And the three bigs, Ivan, Ethan, and Wilson, they play both ways, and so I think that kind of wore them down a little bit. And then there was a pretty big momentum shift that's hard for a young team to come back from.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of took a gut punch early in the third quarter, and they just weren't able to get back up from that. But I will say, I think the schedule did not do the St. Paul Indians any favors, just because we had a lot of turnover from last year's roster. A lot of seniors graduated, and then we bring in a lot of young kids that don't have a lot of varsity experience. And then you probably play 2 of your 3 toughest games of the schedule early out of the gate, and it's hard for them to get that confidence and that momentum that, they need. So I think the key probably for the St. Paul Indians going into this week of practice is, hey, they need to, believe that they are a good team.
Absolutely, yes.
And, you played for Coach Whitrick for 4 years. Your last 2 years, you guys won a lot of games, but your first 2 years, you didn't win a whole lot of games. Victories were few and far in between. What did Coach Whitrick say to you guys in a week of practice after, a couple of tough losses?
He never really talked about if it was ugly or, anything like that. He kind of just always was pretty encouraging, and we were going to move on to the next week. Now, don't get me wrong, there were a couple jokes made here and there, but I think that's good for any team. But I expect Coach Whitrick will probably just hit the ground running next week, and he's always don't look back and look forward kind of guy.
Yeah, next week the St. Paul Indians, I think, travel to Yates Center. That's a team we haven't played in a few years, so I don't know, what their record is at this point in the season, but hopefully we can get the ship righted. I think, as frustrating as these first 2 games have been, especially on the scoreboard, I think, though, if you really look at it, we're going to have the capability to move the ball up and down the field. We have some big kids up front. We just need to get some confidence, and hopefully we get that when we start playing teams that we match up with a little bit more better physically.
Yes, I expect this to be a progressive season. I think that we're going to be getting better every week.
Yeah. Well, with that, we will call it an evening from Miles Field. We appreciate everybody that stayed up to listen to the whole game, and we look forward to Dan Vitt and Mike McCracken hopefully coming back next team, because they are the varsity callers and we're just the JV play call crew. So let's get the varsity guys back, and we will see you next week.
Absolutely.